Hold on.
Football is about opinions. It's what makes the beautiful game. Some opinions are based on facts. Some come from experience. Some come straight from the heart. Every supporter sees the game differently. Every manager believes they found the answer. Every player has something to prove. But tonight, we're not sitting on the fence. We're leaving no stone unturned. The signings, the departures, the tactics, the budgets, the pressure, the promotion contenders. And the club's fighting to prove everybody wrong. Tonight, we dive deep into the SCFL Premier League. 20 clubs, one division, one long season ahead. There will be predictions, there will be disagreements, and there will definitely be opinions. This is the Sussex Non-League Football Newsroom. This is the SNLF Show.
We're back. Welcome to episode 77 of the SNLF podcast, where Sussex football is always taking centre stage. Today's episode promises to be massive. Massive opinions. They're all massive opinions, massive. Everything's going to be massive. Threw me off then. We're going to have our big Southern Combination Premier Division season review. What we think is going to happen, who's going to be good, who's going to be shit, and everything in between. Everyone starts on 0 points. Every club, I think, has optimism that they're going to be there at the end of the season. But we're going to review it and tell you who we think is going to win the league. And then tomorrow on social media, you're going to tell us who got it right. We'll be discussing title race, promotion, relegation, dark horses, golden boot, manager of the season, and much more. Every prediction comes with a reason. We're going to explain as we go through. Everyone's given their opinions. Before we get started, we're going to have a quick word from this week's sponsor, which is Dugout AI Water. Dugout isn't just a premium can water, it's water with a purpose. Every can sold helps support grassroots and non-league football, putting money back into the clubs where it matters. Whether you're playing, coaching, volunteering, following your club home away, choosing Dugout 90 means you're helping football beyond the 90 minutes. If your club is looking for a smarter, more sustainable way to stay hydrated while generating extra income for your club, get in touch with Mike in the top left-hand corner there at Dugout Diaries, Dugout AI, to get Dugout 90 in your club. Right.
Dugout 90. Buy a can, support your club.
There we go. Right, let's get into it. Matt, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. Definitely not nervous at all to be ripped apart tonight.
I'm sure it'll be fine. You watched any football in the last week or so? Last 2 weeks, other than the depressing World Cup semi-final?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if we want to bring people down by bringing that up, but I could certainly talk about that for a while. But I haven't been to any games. I'm going to one this weekend. I'm going to go watch Crowborough Hassocks, two clubs that know each other very well indeed.
Yeah.
But no, not over the last week or so. Only England.
Yeah.
Again, the less said there, the better.
Yeah. Grant, how you doing, mate?
Hello. Very good, mate. Very good.
Been up to much in the last couple of weeks?
No, not really football-wise. Obviously, yeah, World Cup. Watched a lot of that. Yeah, disappointing with the Argentina result, as we all were. I think the right team won the whole World Cup in the end. Though it's good. I would have been so pissed off to see a team like Argentina bully, batter, non-football their way towards a trophy. Because all that would then do, it would give every other club in a certain league that aren't the best team in the league, you can, right, if we go around kicking lumps out of people, we can stop teams from winning. And That's not a tactic I like, and I wouldn't be involved in myself. I've never done that as a manager. I never did it as a player. I was always aggressive. But to do the tactics that they did, then right team won. But it's nice now that that's done. Now's the time to focus now fully on non-league football. Pre-season games are well underway. We're 22nd of July. We're literally a couple of weeks away from the start of the season.
Less than that, 9 days. I think it's 1st of August, isn't it?
There we go. FA Cup games. Do you know what I mean? It's there. It's buzzing away, bubbling in the background. The players will be ready. They've done all their fitness. They've got over little knocks they had last season, raring to go, mate. So it's a good, exciting time, mate.
Amazing. Right, now I'll go to the gaffer, the big man in the top left-hand corner. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. First of all, fuck the World Cup. It's done.
Yeah.
It happened. We're over it. It's non-league now. The season is approaching. Everyone's getting a little bit twitchy. Who's signing who? Who's got the budget? Everyone thinks they're promoted. For me, there's about 8 or 9 teams in the running. I think there's going to be a big difference between the top and the bottom this year. For me, though, it's a box office season.
Yeah.
We've got ex-league footballers in the league now. We've got teams bashing a bit of money out. We've got teams that have had their budgets cut. We've got teams that have a long growth sustainable plan. Okay. And today, I want us to put football friendships aside. Okay. I want us to give your predictions for the league this year based on what you think. Not because your mate plays for them, not because you were previously there or anything like that. Okay? This is from you. I want us to debate this. I want us to question decisions. Okay? These shows about being built on raw facts. You don't answer to anyone. No clubs, no FA, no leagues. Okay? So today, we go deep diving into the SCFL Prem, and I want to stir up some trouble. I want to have my face on a dressing room wall as a dartboard. I want teams to be chucking darts at me because I'm putting their team down. I think they're going to get relegated. I think they're going to get, they're not making the playoffs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay? So if you lads have decided that because your mate plays for them or that, get off the show now. We're being real, and this is how we're going from day one. All right?
Just a couple of questions before we get in it. Is this the strongest Step 5 division in the country?
No.
Is it going to be the most competitive Step 5 division in the country?
No.
Is it going to be the most entertaining Step 5 division in the country?
Hell yeah!
Yeah, there we go.
Hell yeah! Look, there's no masquerading about. This is, for the first time in about 10, maybe 15 years, the SCFL Prem is the box office league. And us as a brand, and as the Dugout AI brand, bigger than that, we are going to promote this to the hell. Those clubs out there, those players, those supporters, we want to hear from you. Get in the comments. Yeah, I want to see you in the comments. I want to see you saying, Mike, you're wrong. Gaz, what are you smoking? Matt, should you even be here? Grant, are you still on that side? Do you know what I mean? This is what I want. We're here to start talking and start opinions. And what we're going to do, everything we're going to leave on the table, right? Let's go.
Where are we going to start? Oh, evening, Monty. I think we should start with one of the newbies, don't you? We've been controversial for the last 2 years. Matt, you're up first.
Let's do it. No messing about.
Right, so for people that don't know, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put up each of our leagues, how we see, okay? Get in the comments. No need to be abusive. If you can be abusive to me, I don't mind that at all. But get in the comments, start debating it, And the best ones will stick up on the screen. But we're going to start with where we think who's going to win the playoff, the top 6, and who's getting relegated. But every one of us needs to bring receipts. Yeah?
Yeah.
We ready, Matt?
100%, mate. Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's see that. Matt. Let's see what you've got for everyone today.
Sorry in advance. Okay.
Right. Gaz, lead as a host.
Right.
Interrogate Matt.
I'm gonna. Well, you put Hassocks to win. That's, to me, that's not box office on this. Not
No,
box
mate.
office.
I think they gave a good account of themselves last season. They were unlucky to go down. They were in with a chance of staying up right to the final day. They've managed to keep the core of their squad. They've recruited well, so I don't think this one's going to be particularly controversial or surprising to see them at the top. I think that was actually one of the easiest picks, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the standout in all of that, I'll let you go through it one by one, but the standout in all of what you've got there is East Grinstead in 11th.
Yeah, we can go to them. And this is something that we can start with East Grinstead because I know that's something that's going to get a lot of people talking. And they're a team that I moved about a lot in the predictions. That wasn't the case for every team. I think, would it be a disaster? Yeah, probably. And I'm aware of the resources that they're putting into this. But what I would say is that there's no guarantee of success just because they're one of the bigger clubs in the league with resources, right? And the question that I want to put to you guys and to everyone watching, right, is how big of a gap do you think there is between step 4 and step 5, right? Can a club that got 3 points all season and minus 131 goal difference instantly go and be competitive at the top of the league below? Because I don't think that's necessarily true. I'd say it's almost insulting to the level of football at step 5 to suggest that a team that did that poorly could just come and walk the league, right? I absolutely don't think they'll get relegated. I'm not as harsh as all the AI predictions that came out and put them dead bottom. But I think it's going to take time for them to gel, right, and work out what this new team's all about because there's a lot of new faces in there. And that you don't necessarily hit the ground running with a whole new setup. We've seen that so many times, right? So, yeah, I think that really think about it. How big is the difference between step 4 and 5? That a club that did that poorly could just come and walk it,
But before Grant jumps in, because I know he's obviously had inside from the camp. He was there last year. Okay. I can't see how you've got East Grinstead that low, right? I'm looking at some of their signings that they've brought in, some of the players they've retained. Okay, Grant will go into more details about why possibly it went a bit wrong last year, but why's the low, Matt? I mean, you look at you got your Perry's there. He's a beast. You've got all these new signings they've made, and look, by all accounts, they've had a lot that have gone down from higher steps to play for Andy, who a bloke I respect in there trying to do what he's doing. I just want to know why you're putting them that far down, Matt.
Yeah, so I think it's no discredit to the players and stuff that are there, right? But when you go for as big as an overhaul that they've needed to go for, right, to stand any chance, I don't think there's any guarantee that they're instantly going to click and they're instantly going to gel. I think for them, I think the problem I think it would be a slow start to the season. That's what I'm predicting. I reckon East Grinstead come good later on and they have a good second half of the season. So I think that finishing position is going to come from a slow start as they work out how they gel together, how they work together. Shout out Lee, get the Dugout 90 ordered. But yeah, I think it's going to come from a slow start from all these people. So I think the difference between Hassocks and East Grinstead is how they performed last season, right? And how much, again, coming back to how much of a difference is it between step 4 and step 5? Like Hassocks got relegated just on the final day, right? They put in a really strong performance. They showed at times that they almost deserved to stay upright as indicated by their finish position. So I'm not saying that just because a team gets relegated means that they're going to struggle or not struggle, right? I think that that's irrelevant. It's more in terms of, I think, comparing it to last season, I can see how you would say that, but I think saying that it's a hugely different squad of players feeds into what I'm saying about the fact that that's going to take time to get going and to gel together, right? You know, they've had pre-season. You know, is that long enough? They're still quite far into pre-season, still getting people through the door and what have you. So, yeah, I can see why you would say comparing it to last season might be silly, but then I also think when you say it's a hugely different squad, that sort of plays into what I'm saying. Hasek's number one. So again, for me, that felt like an easy choice, looking at the people that they've kept around. But yeah, I know that the East Grinstead one, that's probably the spiciest take here by quite some way. And as I say, I moved them around a lot. I had them lower, I had them higher. They were as high as like 6th or 7th at times in my predictions. But the more I thought about it, the more that I just, and I'm sure, there's a big chance that we'll be here at the end of the season and I'll have egg on my face, right? But I'm coming here,
that's what it's about, Matt. It's about opinions.
But I'm not just coming here saying it for the fun of it, right? I'm saying it because I think, it's going to take them time to get to where they need to be. And I think they'll get there. But I think that by that point, it will be a bit further into the season. There'll be other clubs that I think are going to be more complete from the start, that have retained a lot of their players. I'll come on to that. And we'll be carrying on momentum. I think momentum is so important, right? And I think you absolutely can carry momentum from one season to the next if you retain a core player base, right? I don't think that just because there's an off season, if you've got similar people, they'll suddenly start playing rubbish. So I think that's one of the problems they're going to come up against. Is there's a lot of teams that are going to be looking quite similar to last season. A lot of the same players, teams that had good momentum, like Eastbourne United, I've got quite high up. Really strong finish to the last season. Won 4 out of the last 5 games. They only lost to Stenning in that run. They beat Haywards Heath on the final day. It's teams like that I feel are going to hit the ground running, that are going to cause the problems for East Grinstead.
I think it's perfect time to cue the man who's about to go to Turkey to have his hair done. Grant, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, thank you. I don't know about the Turkey one, mate. Someone sponsoring me to get my hair done. I'm well beyond that, mate. I can assure you. But I do get where Matt's coming from. Obviously, I've predicted East Grinstead to come top. But look, as an ex-player and an ex-manager, momentum is a big thing. You often start the season how you finished the season before. So even if you do have a change, it's a cultural thing, a mentality thing. You sometimes, I've always said, you win a lot of games and you get on a run. You also lose that game. You get on that spiral of defeat. So that's going to be East Grinstead's biggest problem. But obviously they cleared out a lot of players from last year. So obviously if you look at them last year, as Matt said, 3 points. And then the previous year from that, I think they stayed in that league again by a few points. So you look over the last 2 seasons, they've lost a hell of a lot of football matches and not won very many. And that is going to take a big momentum swing. So it's almost like, look, clean slate. Here we go. New club, new manager. Oh, I know Andy was there last year, but you got to almost forget last season. Because, when we went in, when Andy and I went into East Grinstead, it was already discussed that, look, we're 99% down. Can you save us? And we sort of said, we'll try our best, but very likely no. So even at that start, it was looking like we were rebuilding for the following season, which is this year. So look, that's where I think Matt's coming from. It is momentum from the last 2 years. It's very, very hard to change that. But I personally think they'll do it. I think they've got the players to be able to do it. With the experience that they've got coming in, and they've already bought in, like you said, Mike, from, they've got people from step 4, from step 3. Some of them have even played step 2 football. That they're big, big characters with big personalities. And I think they will have a huge impact in that change room. Do not underestimate the power of the changing room. You've got those sort of leaders, and that's how we did so well at Forest Row. Is we got real characters in that team. People like Callum Donaghy and obviously Kurt Gaylor. We had Tariq Richards. A lot of these players have played a lot of level, and they really helped pushing them young kids forward. And
can that also be a hindrance?
Sorry,
can that also be a hindrance, having a lot of big characters in them?
Yeah, absolutely. But if they clash and wind each other up, then absolutely it will. But I know some of the players. I don't know all of them. But you pick the right ones, and that's the thing. I think that's what you're talking about, Matt. Is will all those big characters from a higher level all gel and play at step 5?
There's a comment here come through from non-league football Sussex. My concern for East Grinstead will be if they don't start like a train. They have some big personalities, are well known for being negative when things aren't going great, and that could be massive.
I mean, that's something that I was going to say as a follow-up, right? Like, what happens if they lose or they don't win their first like 3-4 matches, right? How quickly does everyone start thinking back to last season, right? I mean, we talk about we can't compare it, but people will, right? If they have a slow start, the narrative instantly is like, oh gosh, things are still tough at East Grinstead. So I think
isn't it Hayward's Heath away? Isn't it Hayward's Heath away first game?
Yeah, first game. Yeah.
I mean, there's not many tougher ones. Maybe Guernsey away would be up there, but that is a tough ask. But I think 100% you're right to say that not just because of the big names that are going to be expecting big things, but also just the whole narrative around them is they're a club that people are going to be watching, right? And as soon as they don't start doing well, if indeed that is the case, then questions start getting asked again. Like, right, okay, well, what is wrong? What's the real root cause of this? Why are they still not winning games when they're down a league? They've put so much in. So I think there's a lot of pressure, and in some ways that might be good for some of the big names they've got in. They might thrive on the pressure. They might just let it wash over them and be like, yeah, we can face it. But I think that pressure can very quickly turn into a negative thing if they don't start well. But yeah, so that's probably as we say, the big spicy take. But Hayward Heath second. Sorry, go on, Gaz, go on.
Go on, Gaz. What are you picking out there? What floats your boat there, mate?
Little common bottom.
So
when we go, just in my opinion, we've said a lot of momentum from the end of last season will go into this season. Little Common finished the end of last season fairly well, and I think they may take that. They'll always be there or thereabouts. I can't remember where I put them. We'll have a look in a little bit. But they'll always be there or thereabouts because of the budget and everything else that they've got there and what they're up against. But actually, I don't think they'll finish bottom, in my opinion. That was another thing that sort of stuck out for me.
So I struggled more with the bottom 5 or 6 teams than I did with the top 5 or 6, genuinely, right? I think the bottom, the battle for survival, I think is going to be as close as the battle for the playoffs on the top, right? So I'm not bouncing away from my decisions here. I own it, right? But it's going to be really close. I could see them, being as high as like 14th, 15th. But for Little Common in particular, it was more just vibes based, right? That's the case for a few of the teams near the bottom that I'm just not feeling. I think there are some teams that are like Billingshurst, for example. I think they'll have just about enough to keep them there. Like Lancing, obviously, you could say they're lucky to be in the league in the first place, right? And they've had a few poor seasons back to back. Little Common, someone has to come, right? Factually, someone has to come last in this league, right? That's one thing that we know. All the rest of these opinions, who knows? But one thing is a fact: someone has to finish bottom, right? Someone is losing. Someone's getting 2. Someone's are getting relegated if there's no reprieves. So I had to pick someone, and this one again, it was more vibes based because I honestly, for the longest time, I had Wick bottom, and again that was because I'm seeing nothing from them, not really signing much, and I changed it last minute, quite late on, swapped it all about, put Seaford a little higher up than I had, put Little Common at the bottom, and it really is because someone has to, right? But I think it will be really, really. I think the battle for relegation will be a lot closer this season than last season. I reckon we're not necessarily going to have a team, like a Shoreham or whatever, where throughout the whole season it's fairly obvious that they're off the pace and they're sort of destined for relegation. I think this season we could really be going far into the second half of the season where we really just don't know who's going down. And I think that's why this league is going to be blockbuster, right? It's not just what's happening at the top, it's what's happening throughout the whole league. So yeah, Little Common, they're at the bottom. But again, that's because somebody has to be, right? And I've really struggled with who. Not because I'm not, don't want to make enemies or whatever, but because I genuinely believe that a lot of those teams are really, really close on paper when you look at it, right? Like, I moved them around a lot of those, like 14th down. I honestly think you could rearrange that in so many different ways and it would still make perfect sense to look at.
Just on the thing about Wick, Matt, you're saying about them being a bit quiet. There are certain clubs, though, that don't announce their signings. They want to keep their cards close to their chest. They don't want people to know. They don't want anyone to know what signings they've got coming. So I reckon there's a few clubs in there that have done some signings that we don't know about yet that they've just kept under wraps.
So I have written here for Wick that they could have big things coming, and we just don't know. You know.
Sorry, Wick have actually announced signings.
They did quite early on in the window.
Jordan,
they did lose Charlie Robinson that won all 3 trophies.
But then they've also signed Jordan Layton, who's played at Wembley for Littlehampton. I know he was at Rustington the last few years, but he's been at Rustington. But Jordan Layton is a very, very good signing.
I think they lost to Shoreham last night.
Did they? It's pre-season though, isn't it? Like we it doesn't always mean a lot. But Sam Connolly's re-signed as well. Like
nah. I'm sick of this, Sosgaz. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of everyone saying pre-season don't matter. Yeah,
it don't matter. I said it doesn't mean a lot.
Well, it
does with momentum and winning. I think there was a comment there. Someone just put down East Grinstead had lost every game in pre-season. That's not true. They won their first game. They won their first game up. It was 2 or 3-0. But they've lost every game since then. But they played some pro teams. They played teams from the Isthmian Prem. So they deliberately picked tough games to push themselves, and they're not getting dicked like they were in the season last year, 8-0, 7-0. They're holding their own. So whoever said that they've lost every game, that's not true. They did win their first game of pre-season. I think it's 3-0.
Okay, Matt. What I want to pick? Talk to me about Eastbourne United playoff winners.
Yeah, so I think as I touched on earlier, they had a strong end to last season. They've retained a lot of good players. I'd like to see them sign a few more new faces, but based on the resources that they have, right, based on the pool that they have in the Eastbourne area, maybe Borough have a little bit less local pool now. But again, they were one where I had them up there pretty much from the start.
They beat Eastbourne Town last night, didn't they?
Yeah. Was it like 2 or 3-0, something like that, maybe?
I think that it's so tough, but I think they'll do well this year. I think they made some good signings. Calm down.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think they'll be up there. Guernsey, obviously, due to the nature of where they are, they retain a lot of their players, right? So you'd expect to see the same from them. Obviously, it all comes down to what their away form is like. I think we can all agree their home form will probably be the best in the league again. Horsham surprised people last season. Liam's top manager. They've lost Noah Fisher, which is a blow and could hamper them because he's a top player. They have made some good signings. Connor Wilford, I think they announced quite recently. I think will really help them kick on. Forest Row, I think, are my dark horse for the season. Last season, really difficult season for them. Obviously, a lot of stuff which everyone on here knows all too well about. But they've had a very busy window, probably the busiest window of any club. Maybe that's just because they tag me in all of their posts, so I see them all. But I feel like they're bringing in new players every day at Forest Row.
I think Ian. I was actually with him last night at Sussex, and I think he's done some great business. He's gone under the radar for a bit too long now.
Yeah, no, I predict a big season from them, and again, that might be a bit of a hot take, right? When you look at the season they had last season, but there were so many external factors there. But yeah, they've signed Bertie Baker from Dorking, Noah Joyce from former Bromley man, along with so many others that we don't have time to name all of them. But yeah, dark horse, Forest Row, 100%. New Haven would be my second pick for a team that, although I've only put them 12th, they had a young side last season. They're sticking with a lot of them, and now they've got experience at the level. There's no doubt they'll push on. They've added some experience. Tyler Capon, I've put them 12th, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see New Haven push into the top 10, maybe make a late playoff push, because they have a model that's a bit different from everyone else with the youth, I think it's fair to say. And now that those youths have had that chance and they've done decently enough last season, they've got experience in the league. There's no reason they can't push on. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see them finish a little bit higher than that. So again,
how many goals do you think Robbo's going to get this year? Because he's been massive for them the last few years.
Yeah, See, my immediate thought was 20 plus easy, but it's hard to say, isn't it? But that's where my mind went straight away. You even were decent last year. They were, and they did that with a young squad, possibly youngest in the league. I'd have to look that up to know for sure, but certainly that it'd have to be up there for, you know, in terms of that. But I think Midhurst is a team. I actually had them in the playoffs to start with, and then I moved them down. They've made some very impressive signings, but as we've seen, money doesn't always mean success. I think they will improve a lot on last season's finishing position. I don't doubt about that. I think a bit like I've said about East Grinstead, the team's going to need time to gel. You've got some big names in there, as we well know, as we've announced, or IBB 10 announced. You know, I would expect big things from them, and I had them as high as second at one point, right? That's how tough this is, and now I've moved them down out of the playoffs because, you know, are Midhurst going to kick on straight away and be winning matches from day dot? Maybe not. Are they going to win plenty of matches by the end of the season? Yeah,
They've
probably.
just announced, Midhurst have just this second announced another player.
Well, if he's really good, then you've made me look a fool, Midhurst.
Dan Wishart.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not messing about, right? That is simple. But again, it's how quickly can you bring in a big group of new players and see success. But I think, you know, if they're finishing in the top half, where last season there were times where you're thinking, oh, you know, are they even staying up? I think that's still a massive improvement for them, right? In the league as competitive and tough as this, I think it could be considered a success if they finish top half and they're, you know, safe all season and they collect, you know, double figures wins along the way. Be sure it looks like this at the end. Equally EG ending that low, especially below some of them too.
Yeah,
again, the EG one's a hot take, you know. It's a hot take. And I know I'm the only one on the show that's put them quite that low. So, you know, I'm the one that's different here. But there are some teams where there's not really that much to say, right? Crawley Down, for example. I think they're going to have a very similar season this season to last season in that they're safe for the whole season. You know, not
well, you say that though, Matt. Last year they did titter on relegation until they changed the manager and then had a good run. I think 6, 7, 8 wins on the row and that. But at that time, I agree. I don't think they get in trouble, but they did have a bit of a dodgy run last season.
No, I think they'll be all right. I think they'll, you know,
they will be all right. Yeah, I've got them 12. You've got them 13. So yeah, we're very similar.
And then same for Lingfield, right? I had Lingfield a little bit lower, but I never thought they were really going to get relegated. I think they'll be safe. You know, again, a quiet season. I think Roffey is a team that could surprise people. Maybe putting them 7th is, you know, might be surprising for some.
I agree.
About they have it. I know it's just pre-season, but they beat Hastings last night 2-0. You know, and you'd rather win that match than lose it, right?
Jamie.
They've Hazard's went with anything.
Trokey's a fucking great player.
It wouldn't surprise me if Roffey snuck into the playoffs. They've signed Evan Horty from Stenning Town, who I think could be one of the. Matt, if we do better than that, I want to see. Do you know what? I love it, mate. I love a big performance. Get me a suit. I'll chuck it on a lion's head. Why not, mate? 100%. And if you do better than that, mate, I'll be cheering for you. You know what I mean? Up the Lingers. Here they are. But yeah, I think Roffey could surprise people. I think they've made some really decent signings, and I think they're one of the more under the radar teams, like quietly going about really decent business. Maybe if they put Monty in goal, they'll win the lot.
Monty played last night.
Well, there you go. Clean sheet against Hastings. Not doing too bad. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any more questions about it or if we've gone through it all.
I think we need to get someone else's opinion now. With that, we can loop back to it and do a summary at the end.
Of course.
Let's go.
I think we go to the other new boy, don't we?
Yeah, go on then.
Right. So let's have a look. Grant Hearn, former promotion winning manager at Forest Row, and obviously departed East Grinstead last year. Here are your picks.
There we go. Right. I'm sure most of you will think there's nothing surprising there. I've gone for the top. Obviously, having my heart at East Grinstead, and like I just sort of tried to debate with Matt that I think clean slate for the start of the season for those guys. And like I said, the players they've got coming in, step 2, step 3 players, they've had time to gel. So I know Andy very well. I know the backroom staff. I know the coaching. I think I know everyone's put it. They have got a decent sized budget, but it's not just about that. It's getting those players to gel. I do think. I think they've got enough in their tank with the experience that they've got with the players coming in to get them over the line in that league. Like I say, when we was at Forest Row as well at the start of the season, I know we resigned about November time, but at the time we got Forest Row up to second in that league. So Andy knows the league pretty well. A lot of the players in there know that league pretty well as well. So and have played in it. So they're my winners for the league. I do get Hassocks, and I do know. Look, they've come down, like I said, Matt, last game of the season. I think they were sort of 15, 20 minutes, I think, away from staying in that league, which is tough for them. And they have kept their squad, and that is a massive plus for them. For the last, I think they've had a consistent squad now for 4 or 5 seasons, which is big for them, which is big for any club to have that consistency. Excuse me, that go on to win things. So you look at the teams that do that, like Chichester had a very good squad that didn't change much, that went on to go and get promoted. Obviously, Three Bridges last year, same squad, went up. You keep the squads together, and they tend to do quite well, and the players gel. So I'm sure it's no surprise that I've got the 2 teams that came down from that Isthmian League as 1 and 2. I think you asked earlier, Matt, what is the difference between step 4 and step 5? And I can only go from my own experience. That obviously I've managed in both, and the gap between step 5 and step 4, it is huge. I'm telling you now, it's a massive step up with regards to tactically, with regard to fitness wise, with regard to everything behind the scenes. It is a big difference, and I think that's the reason why those 2 clubs that have come down will bounce back up. You know, East Grinstead were in that league for 13 years. Yeah, that's a huge amount of experience to be taken to go down to bounce back up. As I said, with Hassocks, you know, that they've been up and around the top of the county prem for many years, got promoted. They've had that taste of it. They might be, but teams like Hassocks and East Grinstead, they might end up being yo-yo clubs for a couple of years, go up, a couple of years up there, come back down. It happens in the Premier League, doesn't it, with teams in our league. But I genuinely think that those 13 years for Grinstead in the Isthmian League and Hassocks having a year in it last year will be a big bonus for them. Then obviously I think the playoffs for me, like you said, Matt, it could have been any of about 8-9 clubs. It really could have done. You know, obviously I've got Haywards Heath coming third from their experience last year. And they were up, as we said, like 12, 13, 14 points clear at one stage. And I do think it caught up with them. Whether they bottled it's a bit harsh thing to say. Whether, you know, but the pressure that Stenion Town put on them, I think it wore them down, and they nicked it over the line. So I think, you know, them Horsham again. Obviously, Giles, you've done a brilliant job there. So I've got them in it. And Eastbourne Town. Look, Storsey, he's been at Eastbourne for a long time.
I rate him.
He can be challenging in the dugout. I'm not going to lie. I've been in the opposite dugout to him, and he's quite controversial and a bit.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
No, there's absolutely nothing wrong. I'm not saying I was never a saint in the dugout, mate. As you well know, Mike, we've shared a dugout, opposite dugout.
we're not with you, but yeah,
no.
we definitely have some crosses.
Yeah, but I know what Storsey does, right? And this has been the same for about the last 3 or 4 seasons. He starts slowly, because what he does, this is only my view, right? His budget is quite small. He lets players go and play at a higher level. He looks at all the leagues above the bottom of that Isthmian League and the bottom of the teams that are top of the Prem that are on the bench, that aren't getting games. After 8-10 games, he gets the phone out and starts phoning all them players up that are playing high that ain't getting games. Promises them game times, coaches them. He's a brilliant coach. And then it always, if you look at the historically, from sort of December onwards, they go on runs of 20 games and they're undefeated, because that's when they've got their better players in. Whether he can get that in now and start coaching them now, they would be up there. If he got them in now, they'll be up there. Yeah, go on, Mike.
Do you know what? Exactly what you've just said there, Grant. For the last 3 or 4 days, I've been moving Eastbourne United up and down. Okay. And you're right. They come at the end of the season like a steam train, you know. You know, I saw some chatter on some boards that maybe they consolidated a few pennies last year to perhaps give a good start this year. You know, apparently when they played against Eastbourne Town last night, they were fantastic. You know,
well, even the season before, though, Mike, they lost to Crowborough in the playoff final, which I went to. I went to watch that game. They were, you know, Crowborough beat them quite comfortably, but you could see then they're a good team to say. If they can get that momentum from, let's say, you're not going to, no one wins the league September, October, but if they're, the problem is that they're sort of 10th, 12th by the time they get their team, and they're so far behind 20, 30 points. If they were within that, if they were 8 points, 7 points, 6 points off them come the new year, they're in with a real good chance. Unlike you, I moved them up and down, all these teams I did as well. And I've got to say, I've got Rothby in 6th place. They've made brilliant signings from the back end of last year, playing at Horsham. You know, great coach, great manager. They like to play football on that 3G pitch. They'll be brilliant. They've made some brilliant signings. So, I say, beating Hastings last night. So I've got them just outside the playoffs, but you never know on a good run. My one I've gone for the not being in it is Guernsey. I've got them down in 8th. And I think
talk to me about that.
Yeah, I just think, you know, losing a playoff final the way they did, and they got well and truly hammered in that final. And, you know, I know Peacehaven totally deserved it, but they got dick. That massively affects people psychologically, mentally. That has a spin-on effect towards the following season. They got quite an aging squad. They got a lot of players, mid-30s.
This is where I agree, and I know Tony, their coach. They've just introduced a 23 side as well. You know, Look, make no fucking mistake about it. It costs a lot of money for them to.
It cost them. I think it's about 250 grand just on travel.
Yeah, probably is something like that, and then maybe they've seen that, as you said, the squad is getting a bit older. Okay,
they are,
and they need to push through. And you know, I admire them for sticking a 23 side in. You know, as long as they don't have any flight fuck ups or things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I did hear though that obviously Alex Scott, who obviously used to play for them, he's now at Bournemouth and he's been linked with Arsenal.
He's got a night deal over there.
But I believe they've got a sell-on clause for if he doesn't. I believe that. I don't know whether that's true or not. If someone can confirm that, I heard that he had a sell-on clause when he left Guernsey that if he goes for big money to another club, that they're gonna do very well off the back of that. And if they do have that investment, then you know, are they going to? And the problem is, say, how do they recruit their players? Are they all from the island? Do they have them over here and just playing the away games and not the home games? It's a very, very difficult, challenging thing to do. So, what's that? Well, yeah, you know, they've got tax over there. Yeah, they got good investment, and they got a lot of money. Let's put it that way. So, but that's not controversial. But I think last year is going to have a massive hangover for them. And I know you'll say, oh, yeah, but the same as East Grinch did, Matt. That's why you put them 11th. I just think it's the aging players, the hangover from it. Are they going to fancy it at that age? So, yeah. So that's it for me for them. So the other then I'd say mid-table-ish that could get a good run. I've got Pagan 10th, Forest Row 11th, Crawley down 12th, Bexhill 13th. There, that mid bit, I think you're right. The top 6 could end up anywhere. That sort of middle 6 or 7 could probably end up anywhere with a good run. And I think the bottom 5 or 6 could end up anywhere in a little bit of a bad run. So, but I've got rock bottom for me. Same as you, Matt. I've gone Lancing, purely the same reasons. They've been in a bit of a spiral for the last couple of years. You know, they stayed in the league by reprieve last year, which, you know, we can all sit there and moan about it, but we're not on the FA and they got it. Billingshurst, I've got going down as well. It's tough coming up from that Div 1 into the County Prem. Then I've got Seaford third from bottom. Just purely, I know they've lost a couple. Like I say, like you said before, they've lost Tyler Capone, gone to New Haven. They've lost Saunders, a great player, gone over to Uckfield, the league below. I haven't seen any new signings coming in for them, and they are 2 massive players from Seaford. So I just hope they get some players in, mate. So there we go.
Well, I mean, as Gaz?
Yeah, if you put it back
Anything
up.
You want to pick out on that?
Nothing really stuck out for me.
Just one thing I did want to say though, Gaz, is I've got Lingfield at 15th, but I've been watching them on Twitter and Instagram. They've made some bloody good signings and a lot of signings. So they could be a little bit of a dark horse for me. Is that I've put them there now off the back of last season. But
the chairman's the one that's been commenting, by the way.
I know he has, yeah, I know. So but for me, that they could be ones that could be a little bit of a dark horse that could end up sort of, 8th. And if you're anywhere near 8th to the start of the year, you're looking at sort of getting in it. But they would be a little bit of a dark horse for me, Lingfield. They're sneaking in, getting some players in. As you said, I know they lost their skipper, who's got the Horsham YM corner. So yeah.
They're confident as well, though, Lingfield. And
and they'll back themselves. Of course they will. You've seen his YouTube channel video thing he did was brilliant.
The documentary is fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really, really good. But that's not why I've put them up there. But what I'm saying is that goes to show the sort of temperament and the mentality of the people that are involved in that club. That they're not there just for a dot and a laugh and they want to make the numbers up. They're serious about moving that club forward. But they need to get back to Godstone Road. They need to get back to their home ground. They've been away from that ground now for 2 years. If they really want to progress, they've got to go home. I don't know. Maybe he can comment on it now.
I know about that, but I'm not going to comment when
if he wants to comment. But
what I do know is that, and I know this for gospel, for that Lingfield club, there is a clear, sustainable plan of growth and longevity for the future. I personally said it.
Being like, so we ground shared at Forest Row at Three Bridges, right? It took us a while to get used to that. It did. And they're nomads. They've been down at Stenning. They've played at Whiteleaf's ground. They've played at a couple of other grounds. And it's very difficult as a player not knowing where your home ground is and being comfortable in your surroundings, etc. So that's, if they can get a stable ground. Are they at Whiteleaf now permanently for the next year?
Well, for this season they are.
This season is.
They're exclusively there as well.
Yeah, because I know Whiteleaf have gone over to Cray Flamingo Park, haven't they? So look, if they can call that a home and make it a bit of a fortress, then they'll. I can see them sneaking up.
Here's your response.
2-year deal signed, plan for year 3.
Perfect.
There you go.
Well, there you go, Rich. That's great, mate. But like I say, being an ex-manager, it's very difficult to make a place that's not your home. You've got other clubs' logos up in the wall. You've got, different colours everywhere. It's making it your own challenge.
I mean, for me, it brings up just a little side debate, really. I hate ground shares, but I don't mind ground shares when there is a plan.
Yeah.
Okay? A plan to come through. You look at Seaford, okay, and they've got to go to New Haven, but they know they're coming back in a couple of months. You look at Wick, they've gone to Bognor because they're having a free G put in. Okay. Yeah. You look at teams like your Copthorns, yeah, we just hire out Horsham all the time, and that's not a long-term plan. Okay, sometimes
especially when they were getting attendances of 11 people, Mike. How is that viable?
And paying wages. And paying wages.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, you are right in saying that though. It is what it is there. But I'm never been a fan of that if there's no plan. And I don't think if there's no plan in place, I don't see why you should be allowed to do it.
Fair enough. But Rich just saying there about the pitch, that pitch at Whiteleaf is the worst 3G, 4G pitch you'll ever play on. If you're looking from the changing rooms, because they're quite high down the pitch, the pitch looks black because of the amount of black pellets that's on it. You can't see any green. That 4G must have been down 15, 20 years. I guarantee it. And it is poor quality. Their players might get injured if they're playing on that week in, week out and training on it week in, week out. It's a very poor surface. So, but there's nothing they can do about that. They've got to go with what they've got. So,
100%.
Matt, anything sticking out for you, lad?
Well, obviously we've disagreed and spoken about East Grinstead. I think there's quite a bit that we agree on. Bexhill, you've got a little bit lower than.
I've got to get down there and see them this year. Shout out to Tots, Baller Totter.
I think obviously the Guernsey one. I sort of get where you're coming from there, and you have to ask the question of when does it get to a point that all the travel is that they have to do and all the arrangements they have to make is just a little bit much.
But it's nothing new to them. It's nothing new.
No, but when it's an aging squad and when you've come so close, maybe the closest you're going to get, and you haven't won it, do you then start to question, the amount of effort and money that's been put in? But I think for the most part, it's quite similar. I think like Crawley Down, Wick, Lingfield, Seaford, Billingshurst, we put them all in pretty similar places.
I think, Matt, there's a couple of places between most of ours except for the Grinstead one.
I think if the table finished like that, other than East Grinstead, it wouldn't really surprise me, to be honest. So I think they're mostly pretty fair and reflective of what might happen.
I
the bottom might disagree, but
let's see yours, boys. Ones then. Come on then.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a little step back for a second, and that time for a little hydration break.
Oi, you buying that or just window shopping? Dugout 90, mate. Keep the lads hydrated. Buy a cat.
Also, what I want to just notice before we get into mine and Gaz's as well, this is what it's about. These shows are about debate. None of us will be right all the time. We can be right some of the time, okay? But I love the fact that when we do get things wrong, this is what I like on this show, it's a bit of integrity. You stand up and you admit you got something wrong, rather than going hiding. We don't have that on my shows,
I did at the end of last season with John Meaney at Worthing.
You sure did, mate. And I'm the guy that backed Worthing. But these shows have to always be raw. They have to be your opinion. You can't take outside influence. You can't take a backhander down the pub. This has to be about yourselves. Okay. And just interestingly as well, by the way, before we get into mine and Gaz's, we talk about ground shares. We talk about sustainability. I've been speaking to a lot of clubs over the last probably 3 months. Clubs that have had money problems. Okay. You come into this league and some of these teams allegedly are spending quite a lot of money. How is it sustainable when they're only getting X amount through the door? So you have to start looking outside the box. I've spoken to chairmen all around. How do you get a revenue stream in if you're not getting the sponsorship, the people through the gate, and that? How do you make it sustainable? Okay. Now, the one thing I've definitely noticed, what a lot of teams are starting to do, is they're taking up this idea, and if they've got spare land, using that land to make money. Okay. Bear in mind, football is about community, but it's a business as well. Because if you don't run it right, there isn't no football club. I am more and more with the idea, looking across the country now, that certain bits of land that you have, you can use. For example, I've been speaking a lot with a company that do paddle. Paddle is one of the fastest growing sports around. Okay. It's going to be in the Olympics. Everyone I know is playing paddle. Okay. I know that there is a few clubs already in this league that are having paddle courts put in because it's a sustainable revenue stream. These paddle courts can make hundreds of thousands of pounds. Okay. So we linked up with a firm, a respected firm that we deal with, Paddle Kings, okay, and just put something together. If anyone's interested, if there's any chairman out there, okay, that want to explore the idea, maybe they're struggling with finances behind the scenes, they've got a bit of land they can use, get in contact. We're going to be working in the future with this highly respected, the number ones in the country, Paddle Kings. Just give you a little idea.
Hold up. You've got land, you've got football, you're literally sitting on money. Welcome to the future of the club. Paddle is the new king here. These courts are ready to host epic matches and take your club to the next level. Contact Dugout Diaries for more info.
I mean, I couldn't believe that, just before we go on, the revenue you can generate from these. You know, you're talking literally hundreds of thousands of pounds net. Imagine having that as a club in there, if you've got a bit of spare land. So if there's any chairman or people out there or people that have land, get in contact with me. I'll put you in touch with the right guy who'll be able to help. Okay? Because I'll tell you what, this is, to me, the new 3G revenue stream. It really is. Okay. Moving on, lads. Right. Whew. We've already divided a lot of opinions. Okay? It's good. Gaz.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
No.
Are you not? Yeah, you're
No.
right, Ryan. Everyone's playing paddle.
Yeah. I'm not. Keep getting told I should be, but I'm not.
Mate, it's everywhere. I couldn't believe, as a businessman myself, I didn't see this a couple of years ago. But anyway, right, let's get
I think
into
I'm
it.
going to upset a few people. Here it goes. Scott, you're right. You're right, Grant. We'll delay it a little bit longer. It's fine.
That's fine.
No, come on.
No, I was going to say, I had that idea a couple of years ago, mate. I've looked into it before, Mike. So it's very
What about
viable.
paddle?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Could not believe it. Could not believe it.
It's a very viable business.
I just think if you're a chairman or a club that's struggling for money and you've got a bit of land, secure your future, secure the youth's future, secure that. Get down there. We know a company that can install, survey, everything. Bam.
And there's very little upkeep with it, isn't there? There's no upkeep with it. It's easy.
Mate, they're venues. They're beautiful venues, you know.
Yeah.
Monty
Go on,
said
Gaz.
that
Come on, Gaz.
he's too busy with Croco.
Yeah, Monty Watson Price with his 26-room estate. This is a guy that's legitimately got a garden that you could put a football pitch in, and he has one of those sit-on mowers.
Maybe
Monty.
put some paddle courts in his house.
Monty, we should get you some paddle courts in. Right, let's move on to some more picks because you know it's getting right.
I'm sorry, Rich.
Who are you pissing off now? Let's go.
Lingfield.
Woo. Right. Gareth, the SNLF food guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Well.
Where do you want to start?
Is going to be happy with you.
Who is?
Giles is going to be happy with you.
Yeah.
Especially as his budget isn't anywhere near this.
I messaged him actually, and I was like, "You wait till you see mine."
Right.
Yeah. Go on.
Got Matt, dig into him like he dug into you.
Well, I'm glad we agreed on Hassocks. Obviously, we disagree on East Grinstead, but we've gone over that. Billingshurst got them higher than I think the rest of us have. So you think they're going to come up swinging?
I think most teams that come up do all right. When you look at it, on average, Seaford did all right for a couple of years. Billingshurst, I think, will be all right this year. But what I will say is that 12 to sort of 16th, 17th, I could potentially have put Lingfield up where Billingshurst are and Billingshurst there. I could have put Wick where Little Common are, Little Common where Wick are. I think that will be just as tight as the top 5 or 6.
No, I agree completely, mate. I thought exactly the same. You really could swap them around. You got Crawley down a little bit lower than I had. You think they're going to struggle again? Obviously, they
always do well in like the Vars. They always have a good cup run, and that affects their league form. I think you see the last couple of years in the FA Vars, they've gone fairly deep into the Vars, not quite as far as Heath did last year, but I think, they always do fairly well, and it does normally sort of affect their league form.
So on that, guys, and as a club, what's better to have? A very good cup run in the Vars where you end up going deep and earning a shed load of money, or finishing mid-table to bottom half of the league?
Absolutely. Like a Vars run, you saw it with Littlehampton a few years ago. year, and they managed to balance it well with the league and the VARs run. Haywards Heath last year, I think Haywards, for me,
they only lost to penalties against Stoneham, who went on and won it.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that their running the VARs may have affected their chances of winning the league in the end.
I don't disagree with that, Gaz. I don't. I just think, but if you get a good run in that can set a club up for 3-4 seasons if you get a good run in. Really, you look at, I know but Chichester City, they were the same. They got that great FA Cup run. I don't know if you remember 3-4 years ago when they
FA Cup. 100% agree. When you look at the comparison in money for the FA Cup and the FA VARs, I think the first qualifying round in the FA Cup gets you more money than like the semi-final in the VARs or something stupid like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I will look at it while we're chatting. But I'm pretty sure money-wise, the VARs is pants. And I appreciate, like we were talking about revenue streams a second ago, no chairman is gonna bank on.
When we had the Arundel run a couple of years back that you know about, Gaz.
Yeah.
I think at most, and we beat Balham in that, we beat Guildford City, beat some decent teams, and I think the most they got about 1,300.
Here you go. If you win the FA VARs, you win 30k.
Yeah, here's Stoney. Love Stoney. Cheers, Stoney. He's a top boy, Stoney.
Oh, yeah, FA Cup always will be. It's a bigger trophy.
If you win the FA VARs, it's 30 grand. If you win the semi-final, it's 5.5 grand. When you look at the FA Cup, I think for the first qualifying round, it's something.
I think even winning a preliminary round in the FA Cup's worth about 600, 700, 800 quid. I think just for the extra preliminary rounds.
If you win the extra preliminary round, there's 1,000. The winners get 1,125.
There you go. Yeah, told you.
You get to the first qualifying round, winners get 2,250. So if you get to the first qualifying round, you get half of what you get for getting to the semi-final of VARs.
Yeah.
So
at the same time, though, players love to go on these little VARs runs these FA Cup runs. Do you know what I mean? I loved it as a lad. You go to all these different teams.
Yeah,
away day, everyone getting on the coach. Do you know what I mean? If you win, it's a naughty one on the back on the coach. Mooney's out the back, the lot. Do you know what I mean? It's proper.
If Dave Connor's listening from Crawley Down, the chairman of Crawley Down, he can tell us, mate, whether he prefers a good run in the FA Cup or in the FA VARs than finishing 15th, 16th in the league.
Absolutely, I've got a lot of time for Dave Connor.
I think he's out. He could be out in America at the moment.
I know he's out there. I know he's an avid listener, but yeah, it depends what the chairman wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I've gone. This is what's gonna upset people. The Seaford Town, I've put bottom.
They ain't finishing bottom, Gaz.
Look, from what I've seen is a lot of their players going to other clubs. A lot of players they have from last year. A lot of other teams in that league have managed to keep hold of a core players. I just don't think Seaford necessarily have. Look, they might have next week, might announce 8 or 9 players that would keep them in that league. But you've seen Simo's gone, you've got Capon's gone. Like, there's a few players that have just gone elsewhere.
I had a great chat. I love a chat. My mate Darts is down there, yeah?
Yeah.
And he's the gaffer down there, right? Good mate of mine. Day one-er. A lot of time for him. I'd be willing to bet a nice amount. There's no way they're getting relegated. A charity one. And to be fair, my results with charity bets are not very good. Ask Denny.
So there we go.
Yeah. But I've got just one place above relegation, so I'm sort of on the same page, Gaz, as you, to be honest. I don't think they're finished bottom, but they'll be there or thereabouts, I think.
And my table, when you look at the table, if you put it back up, right, that winning side, in my opinion, will have no more than 75 points.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. No one's going to run away with that with 85, 90 points. Nowhere near, mate.
No one that wins that league will have more than 75 points.
It'll be a little bit like the Premier League this year. Look, there's teams that, Man City and Liverpool have won it with 99 points and 100 points before. this year was, I'm an Arsenal fan, so this year 85, 86 points. I think this league will be exactly the same, mate. There'll be a lot of teams competing on it.
And so, like for me, Horsham YM made some good signings. They announced one today, and his name has just gone out of my brain. God.
Bloody hell, it'd be a good signing.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. I can't remember his name.
You play on the wing or up front, God?
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. I had it written down, and I don't know what I've done with it. They've just signed, obviously, Well, let's go Midhurst while I'm looking for that. Yeah. Midhurst, I think I've put Midhurst just outside the playoffs. I think they could sneak in, and the reason for that is signing someone with the pedigree of Brett Pittman, regardless of his age, I think he's got 144 goals in 122 non-league appearances in the 9th tier, so step 5. He will bag them 30 goals this year, right?
My only thing on that, absolutely, you can be like that. He needs service. He can't do it all on his own.
And then you look at the players that they've also announced, signing-wise, with hold on. I was prepared, and I've spent loads of time Dan Wishart,
who they've just signed today.
From Sholin, but ex-Forest Green, ex-Hemel. He's a defender, okay, a little bit different. But then you look, they signed
Nabil.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he played in that Baller League, didn't he? Technically good player.
Yeah.
Was it Bridges last year? Yeah.
They've signed a lot of the players they've signed have come from the Wessex, Portsmouth, Southampton, which ultimately, in my opinion, is a stronger league. We're surrounded by the combined counties, the Wessex and the Kent League, which
I probably agree with that.
Are stronger leagues. So every player that they've signed has come from that Wessex or from that area. No one else in that part of, whether it be Pagham or Chichester or anyone like that, signs players from there. And that's where Connor is great. He's got the backing of a really, really good chairman as well.
Totally agree.
In Tom. And actually, they've got a lot of big plans at Midhurst as well. And they're a club who they've invested this year. They'll want to go up, especially with what they've got planned at the ground. And the same as Wick. And I just think Wick are probably 1 year behind in terms of what they want to do with their ground, which is why I've put them where they are.
Where did you have Midhurst, Gaz? Sorry, can you check
Midhurst, I had them 6th.
So just in the playoffs?
No, just out of the playoffs.
Sorry, yeah, 5.
So, but it was tough between Midhurst, Guernsey, and Eastbourne United. I really struggled with those 3. Yeah. Now, you guys said you moved player teams up and down. Right?
I've moved it twice today.
Yeah. So I did this, and this is the first draft. I didn't move anything.
Wow. I did my first draft. After we spoke 2 weeks ago when we had our first pod, we said, right, we'll do a deep dive. I wrote mine that night, and I reckon I've probably changed it 20 times in 2 weeks.
So this genuinely...
That's what's going through my head. It's tough, mate.
Yeah, this genuinely was done this afternoon. I haven't touched it before, haven't looked at it. I did the 10,000 thing on ChatGPT, but this genuinely was the first time I had looked at putting the 20 teams in the order. So I haven't moved anyone anywhere. And yeah, Lingfield 16th. Do you know what, Rich? What you said to Matt, if you finish higher than 16th, I will become a full kit wanker. Your last home game of the season, I will come down and I will walk out with a team in a full kit.
We'll clip that.
You can clip it. I'll own it. Like, there's a lot of confidence at Lingfield, and rightly so. At the IBB 10, they were very confident they were going to do a lot better than last year. I hope they do. I don't want anyone to see anyone relegated, but as Matt said, someone is going to finish bottom.
If Lingfield finish outside of the top 8, I'll go and dress up as a Guernsey mascot for the day and take jabs from all their people.
Right, there's a lot of mascot uniforms being worn this year, isn't there? Fucking hell.
Yeah. And you know what, Rich? You can buy me a terrible burgers. I'm pretty sure they stock naked barista coffee at Whiteleaf. So yeah, I will. I'll have a decent coffee.
Gaz, you got Bexhill down quite a bit.
Yeah, they never really set the world alight. They always sit around mid-table. I just saw. I mean, they were 9th obviously last year. Eat my words, but I just think they just there's too many. That's what I mean. Like the teams that from Pagham have sat in 10th haven't announced one player yet.
Right. And
we spoke to Lemmy about this, and
me and you were at Pagham streaming all day. What, 2 weeks ago?
8,000 unique listeners.
Yeah, that was some stream.
Yeah.
I went in to the manager's room to see Lemmy, my pal Lemmy, and my pal Reese before, and I said, Lem, who are you signing? Talk to me. And I tell you what, he wouldn't tell me a thing.
No.
And do you know what? He don't even tell his players until they're signed on the dotted line.
Yeah.
I quite like that. I do like that.
I like that.
Yeah, I do. I do. Like I said earlier, guys, there's a lot of clubs that do things quietly and just, we don't know about them yet. And we're doing all these predictions. I think someone commented, "Oh, you lot are stupid doing predictions at the start of the season if you can get that right." But that's what this show's about, isn't it?
That was Tots. That was tongue in cheek, Tots.
Of course it was. I know it was. But we all do that in the Premier League, don't we? In all the other leagues, this is what these shows are about. Because even now in the Premier League, there'll be players that are signing that we don't know anything about that be announced the week before the season starts, the day before, even after the season starts, all the way up to transfer deadline day.
I was chatting to someone on holiday last week. He's a Man City fan. And I went, "We'll finish above you this year." And he just laughed at me.
Fair enough.
He's probably, under 25 years old.
No, he wasn't. To be fair, he wasn't. He was in his, I'm going to say 50s. He ain't going to listen to this. He could have been in his 60s. Right. He'd been a fan for a long time. Right, anyone going to dig me out?
Go on, Matt, rip him apart.
No, well, the only question I had was for everyone, really. Obviously, we were speaking about Midhurst. Do we reckon if they miss out on the playoffs with the budget they've got and the plans they've got, is that a failure, do we reckon? Right.
Tom, what do you reckon? He's listening.
I'll tell you my take on it. Okay. After speaking at length with, first and foremost, I think the coach they've got, Connor, is a coach that could quite easily coach at a higher level. Okay. There's no way Connor Hoare left what he was doing or the offers that he had to come to Midhurst to be an also ran. I also know the chairman. Get on well with Tom. Good guy. Astute businessman. Knows what he's talking about. He's one of these guys, pretty similar to like Rich Williams at Lingfield, has a long-term vision of their club. Okay, they want to do something for the community. They want to actually build something in. Would it be a failure if they didn't make the playoffs? I think in Tom and Connor's opinion, probably yes, because they're winners. Yeah. And that, would it be overall? Probably not if there's progression. They're doing a lot around their ground. They really are. I remember that ground. It's like batting. You're coming out of Lord's batting, aren't you? You walk about, 100 yards down and that. They've done loads to that ground. They've got loads to do. So would they think it's a failure? Probably personally. But as a club, as long as they progress again, kick on, then it should be seen as a success, in my opinion. That's just my take.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think internally that they probably would find that as a failure, but externally to the rest of Sussex football, they probably wouldn't think that. They're not involved in it on a day-to-day running, but whatever happens, that they will improve on last year. And that sometimes small pigeon steps are better than giant steps, because if you do giant steps, sometimes it's not sustainable, and sometimes you can move too quickly.
And I'll tell you one thing. Last season, people weren't speaking about Midhurst.
No. Until
This
Connor went
year-
in there. Until Connor went in there.
This year, big difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
big difference. And I
No.
think the same can be applied to Roffey as well. I do.
We've got-
But we'll get into that.
I
Go
got a
back.
comment on Instagram. Money to get up, then money for the next step. Can't see Midhurst doing that yet. What do you reckon?
I don't think finances are gonna be a problem at that club. I really don't. I think the negative thing could be is you bring in all these guys in, and believe me, Pittman, that's the fucking marquee signing, I think, of the league. Yeah, he's been there, done it, won it. Okay, right. Finances, I don't think are ever going to be a problem at that club, because I think it's as getting to know him, it's a well-run club behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. Gelling that quick with all the new people, bringing the old Midhurst out, bringing Connor's Midhurst in. How quick can they do that?
The thing is, though, every single one of those players that they brought in, more or less, can play step 4, can play, has played step 3. They're all players that would probably have had offers. I mean, they've signed someone from Sholing, they've signed players from Moneyfield. I think that every player they brought in is enough. Yeah.
And that's the chairman saying that to about a chairman.
Yeah. I just think we're not doing it. Trying to get something out of Ian from Lockswood, and he said, "Show me your Div 1 predictions, and I'll tell you." But yeah,
next week.
Stoney, spot on, Stoney.
Yeah.
We're doing Div 1 next week, aren't we?
Yeah, Div 1 next week.
Div 1 is next week. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. But look, I think Midhurst for me could finish higher, could replace. I think I put Guernsey just above them. Could replace Guernsey in the playoffs.
You give them YM a push there.
I have. I just think they've retained a core of last year. They've added. Yes, they've lost. They're always going to lose Fisher, in my opinion.
Who I thought was one of the top 3 players in the league.
Giles, he's got contacts. He's recruited well. They've had a good pre-season. I think they'll be well up there. They'll want to finish. They'll want to have a better season than last year. Last year they finished 4th. I just think it. I think there's no reason why they can't finish 2nd.
But let's ask this question then. Let's ask this question. Out of that top 8, I believe that is the smallest budget. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are we saying he's got players that are playing for him that he's brought in? Now, I know he's brought in Ryan Hall. Okay. Yeah. Ryan Hall played about. He played Palace, Leeds, things like that. He's also a mate of Liam's. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people that think he's coming in for the big bucks in there, I think he's doing Liam a favour there. Right? Yeah. Drew Maguire. Someone you'd know as well.
Yeah, I know. Jordan played for us back in the Grinstead, yeah.
If Jordan is fit, if he is fit, then he will be one of the best players in that league this season.
He won't be, maybe he would be, I'm telling you. He's class. But he needs to get fit.
But I haven't seen Horsham YM. I mean, I'm sure Gilesy could come on and tell us, but he might not. He's protecting his players and that sort of thing, and I get that. But he will be one of the best players in that league if he is fit. And that could make a massive difference.
Yeah, I think the thing for YM, right, Giles, I think maybe more than any other manager in that division can get the most out of the players, right? So that low budget will matter less because he will demand so much and get so much and get his players worked up and ready to play to such a high extent that They might not have the biggest ball, they might not have the biggest budget, but he will be able to get the absolute most out of every single one of those players that are at that club. And I think that could be the difference maker.
I think that's fair. Because I'll be honest, I spoke to Liam today. He won't mind me saying this. Well, actually, it is what it is. I said to him, Liam, a few weeks ago, I was worried. I've got some good mates at that club. Chairman's a wonderful guy, Steve. And Liam's been there supporting from day one. And I said, look, mate, I was worried about you. A bit quiet on here, a couple of signings, marquee signings. Are they fit? We're talking, Jordan, bring in Ryan. Is he going to do the business? I think he scored last night as well. They had some problems last year. It was well known, some discipline stuff in there. They made some changes. I think Harrison, their number 2, is a fantastic football mind. I really do. But I was concerned because I said to him, I had you way out of my top 6, But now looking at it, and now from what I hear, I feel a bit more positive for him, a lot more actually. So, and they've done well. They've done well in pre-season. So, again, it brings back whether you believe pre-season counts or not. I do, But
I think it's got its part to play. But you're telling me that Eastbourne United versus Eastbourne Town in the middle of the season, Eastbourne Town don't do over Eastbourne United?
I think that's fucking irrelevant because that's a derby anyway. That's a derby.
But
that is like
not irrelevant because like Eastbourne United beat Eastbourne Town last night, and I just don't think that happens in season. How many players did Eastbourne Town have out? How many trialists of the family did they have?
I don't know. Someone say
it was a happy day for the trialist family. I think.
Yeah.
Pre-season for me.
Trialist is a slag.
Pre-season for me. It's a little bit like the 3rd and 4th playoff in their World Cup. That game, if that game was the final, England-France, that does not finish 6-4. Do you know what I mean? The pressure's off. There's no pressure. It has an impact, of course it does, but it don't mean the be-all and end-all. I've played in pre-seasons, all of pre-season, where we've won every game. We scored loads of goals. We've lost our first 5 games. I've been in other pre-seasons where we've lost every single game. Going into the season, we won't win the first 6 games. It doesn't dictate, but it does have an influence on it. It really does.
All right, then. What are your verdicts on playing? As you said, Grant, East Grinstead have gone there and they played teams higher step, blah, 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 above, or some teams that go and play lower step or a mixture. What's your verdict on that?
Yeah, when I was manager, we always picked, so your pre-season's roughly 8, 9, 10 games, right? So you'd have three at a really high level, 3 at the same level as you, and 3 at the bottom. And that's how you do it. So you test yourselves against those levels. So I used to start off with the hardest possible ones. So a league above you, then your league, then you finish it with the easier games to build up your confidence. You get the forwards to score goals and you get on the ball and you pop the ball about. So as you then go into the season, confidence is high. Because what you don't want to do, I believe, is go and play a team that are 2 leagues above you and you get dick 6-0 the week before the season starts.
Well, I saw that where Lancing played Whitehawk 3 weeks ago. Lancing lost 9-0.
9,
okay? I didn't think Whitehawk got out of second gear. I saw Whitehawk play last night. They beat Hassocks 4-0. Whitehawk were tremendous. Yet Hassocks, they lost 4-0. I haven't seen a team work harder than them off the ball this pre-season. So nothing got through the middle. It was all coming from the wings. So look, I'm of the thing. You should never play teams that you're going to batter. I'm not that one where it should be a confidence booster or that. Go and play a fucking in-house friendly or something like that.
Yeah, play your 23s or something. That's what you need to do. If you want a confidence booster, play your under-18s.
go and test yourself, right? Go and test yourself at your level or above, okay? Because I'm of the opinion you want to start the intensity high from that first minute of the start of the season. I know you're going to get that playing a step 7 side when you're a step 5. I just don't see it. Look, and that's probably why I was a really shit manager. Well, I was a good under 23 manager, and to be fair, I was undefeated at step 6. So, as Billy would tell you, as well. But
I just think those ones though, Mike, where you let's say Whitehawk are playing teams like Lancing, he would have brought trialists in and people on. I think that was their first pre-season friendly as well. So he might have had 8 or 9 players that he's never seen play before, and he just wants to chuck them in injury-free, nice little run out, have a look what they're doing, little bit of patterns of play, make sure it's sort of roughly moved, and then you can turn the screw and turn up that intensity.
Gaz,
Anyway.
Yes,
Gaz,
mate. Yes.
Before we move on to mine, talk to me about Roffey.
Yeah.
What have you been hearing?
I've got a very good manager in there this year.
Naz is back.
No, it's not Naz. He wants to move away from that, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he's Naz to me.
Okay. I've put a couple of places higher than they finished last year. I just think the teams that are above them there have, from what I've just had more opportunity, like more potential. I can't explain why I put them in 8th. Is the honest answer.
I heard they were really good against Hastings last night and won 2-0.
Top 8, it could be anywhere. I think Haywards Heath will have a hangover from last season. I think Matt put them coming out all guns blazing. I think there might be a struggle this year. They've lost a few players. They've lost Kyle Sim, obviously, to Sussex. His throwing last year probably created 40, 50.
It was 8. He got 8 assists.
8 assists. So
he played first half yesterday. He played quite well, to be fair.
Yeah. I think he does a job. And the guy is absolutely fucking massive. He's an absolute unit. Like,
he is, but he's quite easy to run. If you've got a quick nippy forward, his mobility and the way he turns ain't dynamic.
But
he's good at what he does.
He looks to me like a step 4 player. I watched a lot of football last year, and I look at players, and as you watch from step 1 all the way down to step 7, you look at that non-league, and even up in like the Premier League, you look at the players. As you go up, the size of the players gets bigger because obviously the game gets more aggressive and so on. What's that? Are you guys are laughing?
No. So the size gets bigger.
Yeah, no, they get the players
been like 9 foot in the
he
Premier
looks to
League.
me like a player from step 3, step 4, in terms of size and build and everything else, and athletic ability is probably athletic, more athletic basically as they go up.
I think if you look at Kev's team last year, a lot of them, and quite a few of the Stenning boys, they physically looked a lot more.
Dion's another one. Dion is another one who you could tell had dropped down for last season, and
Dion's my guy.
Naturally sit at step 3, step 4.
And again, you asked earlier, Gaz, about the difference between step 5 and step 4. That is the biggest difference, without a doubt. They're all ripped. They all got the gym. County Prem, right? You can afford to go out, have a couple of beers after the game on a Saturday night, go out for a curry. You know what I mean? Take it easy. Go out on a Sunday. Start training on a Tuesday. Isthmian teams, all them players, they're all super fit. They don't drink after games. They're all doing their recovery. They're taking their protein. I'm not saying people don't do that in the county prem. Of course they do, but literally every player at step 4 is super fit, super athletic, super involved with it. Does the right diet, right recovery, eats the right food, etc., etc. County prem.
Sounds like me.
Some don't. All I'm saying, not all of them.
So what happened last year then, Grant? Were you taking them out on the piss every night for a curry?
Absolutely. That's why we got battered 8-0 every week. We said, don't worry about the league. Let's go out on a piss every weekend. We're going with team spirit. But that is, joking aside, that is a big difference, guys. Is you can look at a player and think, he looks like a proper footballer.
Yeah, and I think if you just watch one team, for example, then you wouldn't necessarily notice it. But when you watch everything from step 1 to step 7 or step 2 to step 7, you see it, and you see the players make the time, and he looks like a player that would make a difference and he'd give himself that extra 1 or 2 seconds to make a decision. Whereas you get some, specifically at step 6, who receive the ball and go, fuck. Look, I can't comment. I'm not a footballer. I'm just someone that's watched a lot of football, right? You pass me the ball, I'll shit my pants. The player will go, he don't want it. No, you're right. I fucking don't. I don't want it. But yeah,
there is a difference to say. They'll say that for me, it's the foot. But that's the fitness and the way they look for it. But that's the mentality of the players. So they all want to be better players. They're all looking to go onwards and upwards and etc. And they take their football seriously. I'm not saying County Prem don't, but a lot of County Prem footballers on a Saturday night, you're seeing nightclubs, you're seeing getting big. I'm not saying that's wrong. If that's the level they want to play at, that's fine. That's not a problem. But if you want, that's the difference in the level, and that's when you can see some of the players. You look at them and think, yeah, he goes out for a beer on a Saturday night and has a curry and goes for a kebab. And you look at the Isthmian and the higher levels, they're all super fit. You think, yeah, they're footballers. But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with where your level is at. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, 100%.
Well,
I'm bored of talking about mine now. I think we need someone else's.
Yeah, but I do. But
we have a hydration break first.
I've got a little announcement to make.
I'm going to get a drink,
if you don't mind. Just quickly before I make that little announcement. Yeah, let's have a little hydration break.
Oi, you buying that or just window shopping? Dugout 90, mate. Keep the lads hydrated. Buy a cat.
If there's any clubs out there that want to join the revolution, by the way, 22 clubs now are going to be stocking Dugout 90. And this is the model that we're working on. We're going to get it in. We're going to bring it to the clubs. We're going to make £0 on the case. Okay? We're going to let you as the club make the profit on it. For us, it's our marketing tool. On the back of the can is the QR codes for all the different brands we have within Dugout AI. Of course, the SNLF show. Of course, the IBB10 show. Of course, we also have Dugout Exchange. You've got the water there, which is coming as well. Dugout Exchange is going to be the first non-league marketplace as well for facilities. We've got that coming very soon. That's just going for approvals with the FA at the moment. We've also said as well, we are the gift that keeps giving. Now, we've been in the lab and we've created something for you. We've created something called Dugout Data Hub. Now, what that is, it is a website free to use, okay, where after every single game in the SCFL and the Isthmian Leagues, this website will store the information, not only on the players, but the teams, and you'll be able to create up to 25 different graphs, okay, which you compare. You can even compare players against players, okay? Now, this is something that we've been working on in the background. It's part of a bigger plan where we release our AI model for Sussex football. So just a quick word about it.
Dugout Data Hub stores all your club, player and match data in one place. And the best bit? Anyone can create their own professional stat packs, completely free, 24/7.
So that's Dugout Data Hub. It's live at the moment. It's live now. And what we've done is we've put in all of last year's, for you to try it out, we put in all of last year's SCFL results in there. So you can go and compare how Stenning played against Horsham YM. You can see how many points per game. You can see the power rankings of the teams. You can see where they let in goals, everything like that. And that's free. And we're giving that out to you for free. Why? Because no one is moving like Dugout AI. And we are committed. Whilst my name is still on top of the door, and I've got the lads around me here and my other lads as well, whilst we're still working together, that will always be free for you. So now you can go on there, have a little play around, download your own stat pack, and after every single game, it will be updated automatically. So you don't have to worry about people dropping your stats on Monday morning or going on X to get it. Go and find it yourself. It's got heat maps on there. It's got all the different types of graphs that you can think of that for you, Sado analysis, that I don't get on with all that stat stuff. You know, go and have a play, and that's free. So that's dugoutdatahub.com, and it is live now. Before we get into mine as well, one other thing I want to say for the man that is over there, guy that have been riding with me, one of the co-founders when we started this off. If you want coffee, yeah, if you want someone to turn up at your event, your match day, go and give Gaz a call. And he's got a brilliant coffee truck with some beautiful coffees and some nice iced coffees as well. You converted me.
I sorted you out, didn't I? I surprised you with a few.
Tell him a little bit, just quickly, before we get on to mine. Tell him a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to do something for the family, something for my kids. So I bent the wife's ear. She's just over to my right. I bent her ear, and I just went and got a bank loan.
If that's anything you bent.
Wow, that made her laugh. Basically, I work in coffee day to day. I work for a coffee roastery, a coffee business, and I thought, what better way to do it than AM Coffee, a little play on words, but my son's called Archie, my daughter's called Molly. So it's very much family orientated. Archie does come out and work with us every now and again. So it's basically a horse box. It's a 1996 converted horse box. So it's 30 years old. It's got a 15-year-old coffee machine in there. And basically, I go out and make nice coffee at events, and I've had loads of compliments. I made Mike a nice little iced tea that he was like, oh, I don't know, looks a bit shit. Gave it to him. He's got his pint in one hand and a nice tea in another. And then what was the other thing I made you? It was
well, I stole a few bags of you, Chris. You don't realise that at the moment. You know those chili ones.
Yeah,
you
like the chili, Chris.
I stuck a few of them in the back. Obviously, I weren't paying.
I think you need to do a stock take, Gaz.
Oh, mate. Mate, I've had the crisps for nearly 2 months. I can't shift them, so
Fucking yeah, they're out of date, Mike.
No, they're not out of date. I checked that. Don't you worry. But look,
Gaz, what do you charge?
What, for a coffee?
No.
What do I charge?
Yeah, to rock up.
Russ, in answer to your question, as soon as I got my stock, I will be stocking Dugout 90. My order's already in. Yeah, I'll let you go through this. No booze in there, Gilesy. No booze at all. Sometimes
there's not after I was in the truck anyway.
Do you know what? Sometimes I would think my wife wishes there was booze when I'm setting it up. I might be a bit more chilled. But look, if you want me to come to your club,
how much are you going to charge?
Nothing. I'm going to give them money.
Did you say nothing?
I said nothing. I'm going to give them money to be there. So they will sell instant tea.
Why don't you come around to my gaff, park up, give me money?
Nah.
Oh, right, okay.
No. Look, I've got 2 clubs that so far have come back to me. I want to try and do something. So notoriously, events dry up in the autumn and winter, right? You get a little bit around these Halloween, a little bit around bonfire night, and then a little bit sort of Christmas. But more in the whole, events will dry up around the winter. We still have to pay our loan back over the winter. It don't stop. So I am trying to put together a little tour of AM Coffee at various different football clubs. You can come and try some, Brandon. Let me know when you're at a game. I'm at 2 clubs. I've got 2 clubs that are already interested. One is booked in for a date. I'm not saying yet because I don't think anything like that's been announced yet. And I've also had, I'll tell you the other club, Storrington have come out to me and asked me to go down there.
There you go.
There you go. That's another one. Lingfield as well.
That's the salesman.
I won't charge you anything, but what I will do is give you 10% of my takings on the day.
And you and me will be at the Junior Lockswood tournament
on 2nd of August, which
I've been sponsored by the In the Dugout app,
which is completely
football app as around.
Oh, thanks, Rich. Appreciate that. What Worthing Football Club? That's a little bit awkward. One of Worthing's biggest sponsors is actually probably one of our biggest competitors for the company that I work for.
Ultimate shithousery. Turn up there, rock up with your truck, get it out. That's what I say.
Look, for me, I think, especially in the summer, I make a wicked hot chocolate. Right, I make a wicked hot chocolate, cream, marshmallows. We can sack off the bloody iced coffee. I'm not a fan of iced coffee in the slightest. I'm a traditionalist. No Red Bull. I got Dugout 90 water.
Stay hydrated. Excellent. Gaz, how can I get in contact with you, mate?
Yeah, AM_Coffee Co. on the screen. You can see it there. Or my phone number's all over that poster, I think, that you put up.
And in many phone boxes as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And gents' toilets.
You know that. Oh, Gaz. And
but look, hit me up. I really think coffee at football is notoriously shit. There's a few clubs that do it right. Don't get me wrong. There's a few clubs that have got machines and that sort of thing. But it's notoriously shit at football. I'm not saying I've got to be careful. This guy Brandon, right? Lingfield 16th does seem criminal, seeing the changes. I get it. As I said, I could have put them anywhere from 12th to 16th, 11th to 16th. I really struggled with that sort of group of 4 or 5 clubs. Yeah, but don't let it off. My coffee is great.
I've personally had it. It's a fantastic thing. He's supporting Gaz and his young family. He's tried hard for us. He's drawn a line in the sand. He's took a punt on it. If you've got an event out there or you know someone, get in contact with Gaz. Because I'll tell you what, it's nice. It's very, very nice. And just finally, before we got one little thing just to remind you about, before we get into my crucifixion. Starting first week of the season, Dugout News is here. It will be your guide. It will be emailed to you on a Monday morning. All the results, interviews. We've got 11 people out there doing match reports on games. Okay, this season we're really expanding it out, and that will be an e-magazine Dugout News for you that will cover step 2 down to step 8. We haven't forgotten about you down there. So that's coming too. We are the gift that keeps giving. Now, time to get into my one, I think.
You've put it off long enough.
Get in the comments, crucify me, because I love the smoke. Right. I can't even remember what I put now. Of course I can. Right.
Dodged it for an hour and 40 minutes. Here we go, Mike. Come on, son. Let's go.
Right, lads. Fire away, because I'm prepared.
Let me just have a look.
Midhurst playoff winners. I like that. Respect that.
You've gone Lingfield 7th. You've pushed them up after what you said. See that. Guernsey 9th, Mike. I had them lower 8th, I think. You've gone one lower.
I'll tell you why.
That your little spat.
No, look. No, not at all. No. First of all, let me just clear that up. The beef's dead. Bodied. There's too many bodies at customs after that. Okay? Yeah. What I'm saying is, I think that this season will be an interesting season for them, okay? There is no doubt that Guernsey are a fantastic side, okay? However, they got absolutely destroyed by Peacehaven in that game, okay? Really destroyed. They're also now realising that they might have to reinvest in the squad. And when I say that, we mentioned earlier about the people getting a bit older. in there, which they're doing now with the 23s. Okay. I'm thinking that's a big step to take on, especially as they've had issues in the past with travel and things like that.
Also, as well, Mike, those under 23s take time to gel in. You can't just chuck them all in. Takes a couple of years, man. It's not an instant thing to react to.
They do 100%. They do.
I say that from experience. Say before I did first team, I did under 23s football for 5-6 seasons, so I know about trying to blend those under 23s players into the first team. It takes a bit of time. You've got to dip them in. You've got to dip them out. You can't chuck a load. You can't chuck a load in all at the same time either. 2 or 3.
Look, I also think as well the teams around them have improved. Okay?
Yeah,
I really do. So it's not because we had a little spat previous. It's the way I went over there and I saw Pagan beat them over there. Okay, I saw Horsham YM beat them over there. Peacehaven did that. Victoria Park isn't the fortress everyone thinks it is. They come over here and they played in that famous 6-7 game with Shoreham. You know? Yeah, so look, that's my opinion. I'm happy to be shot down about why have I put Hayward Heath top? Oh, bloody yeah, the comment. All right. Comments are coming out now.
Well, I was going to say to you, what do you think's different this season about Hayward Heath compared to the last few? What do you reckon is different to allow them to take that one step further and finish on top?
I can't deny that they've made great signings. Yeah, I think the only negative they've got against them is they lost Carlson. Okay, player I like. I think Tom Chalet is one of the most exciting players in that league. Golson, you know, Warwick. You got players around there. Jack Barnes. You've got players around that, and you've also got a coach in Kev Green, who I think is an absolutely fantastic coach, along with Gathers and Vickers around him. Okay, look, they went 17-0 last year and come out with nothing. Yeah, in there. 17-0. Everyone thought they pissed it. They were favourites to win the FA Vase. So much so, I lumped a winner on them as well. At a stupid price. And they only lost to AFC Stoneham on penalties as well. Yeah? They had a key moment where I think Barnes as well got sent off in one of the games. In one of there. So if you look back on it, there's a few things. If they made little tweaks, I think they'll be there and thereabouts. I also think this is a big season for them. In the way that they have step 4, even step 3 plans, I think, that club. Okay. I think their chairman, Steve Isherwood, is a great guy. You know, he'll back
well, they've got the crowds, Mike, and they've got the catchment area to be able to do it, haven't they? What they getting at that level? 600, 700 they were last year?
Yeah.
And if they go up, they could easily get 1,000 people there, easily.
That's the difference with some clubs. Some clubs that can... People say a lot about Hayward Heath. They got the budget.
They do great copy as well at Hayward Heath.
Yeah, well, they say they've got money in that. Yeah, but they put arses through the game.
They do.
Yeah,
and it's not an easy place to get to and park. It's a bit of a nightmare around that area.
Can't be denied. They also make a bit of they make some money from like the containers they've got around there. They've got a bit of land in there as well. They've got a fantastic cafe, lovely bar. I also think that they got plans as well for the 3G to go in as well. If whether that's common knowledge or not, I don't know. But at the same time, that's my pick. I famously picked them last year when Stenning were like a steam train coming through. You know, shout out to Hammy and Jay Hollis, who's on here now for making that happen. They came from 6-7 points behind to win by about 6-7 points or something like that.
The pendulum shift from them was massive, wasn't it? From Stenning.
Yeah. So look, that's my pick. Now putting some of the others on there. So look,
I think with Hayward's Heath, it's all about how they deal with the pressure this season, right? Because I think we can all agree last season the pressure was too much, and I think the pressure will be even more this season because there's so many teams that are going to be in and around. So that's going to be the big thing for them. You know, can they learn from what went wrong last season? Can they deal with what I think will be even larger amounts of pressure and see it through? And there's only one way to find out.
There is only one way to find out. And I think you're looking at that first game of the season. East Grinstead, who a lot of people's tips to be the, to run away with it, not just win it, run away with it. I know there's some confidence in that side. I'm not sure if I would have put up the photo of them all in Gibraltar saying that's the team. You know, it sort of puts a target on your back. Just my opinion. Don't know what others is, but I think we'll learn a lot. I think Hayward Heath, I think they beat a a second side from Hastings 4-0. They've looked good pre-season and things like that. That's my tip. But let's go through them. Grill me on these because I went and watched Sussex last night. Sussex for me worked their arse off. And shout out to Pat Harding, first and foremost, for the fantastic hospitality last night. Secondly, he also told me to make sure that I put Sussex down to about 18th, 19th, so the pressure's off. So unfortunately, Pat, that's not happening. But they were.
Mike, that's actually one thing no one has mentioned, the pressure that Sussex will be under to go back up again, won't they? They'll be under huge pressure for being an Isthmian team and getting relegated and going back up. They
still 41 points to step for.
Yeah, okay. Of course he did. But is that going to be internal pressure or external pressure? He's obviously said that he wants the external pressure off, which I get. But internally, they'll be desperate to go back up again.
I think that is an extremely well-run club.
It is.
I do. I really do. I think Pat Harding there is a chairman that's played for the club, you know, as a long affinity with it. He's doing things around the stadium there. They just had the new electronic scoreboard put in, everything like that. They've retained a lot of the squad they've had there. I went and listened to them as they were warming up just before the game. Yeah, you know, and they got some lovely benches at Sussex sitting there. You know, smoking a fag, drinking a Cruiser Cambo, which is in cans, by the way, over there. And they were on it. I know the result obviously didn't reflect it, but they were on it. You could tell that they were literally in that zone with each other. I like to see that. So I think they'll do well.
But sorry, on that, Mike, though, that's what pre-season is about. It's setting them standards, making sure everyone's on it at every game now, not waiting to the season to start. Right, let's do it now and build into it. They're on it straight away.
Which is why I get the when people say pre-season isn't about the results and that. It should be. You should be on that.
It's not 100%, but it's about the mentality and the attitudes and getting into good habits and doing the right things at the right time. The warm-up's got to be good. It's got to be sharp. We all go out as a team. No one, I'm going to get a rub off the physio and come out 10 minutes later. No bollocks. All come out together, all with your warm-up T-shirts on, all going in, doing a rondo, getting the team buzzing, getting the atmosphere right. That's what pre-season's about, is getting them standards, getting that mentality right within that squad.
Yeah, look, I agree. East Grinstead third for me. Big season. I respect a lot about what Andy Willis has done down there. You know, you've got them to win, Grant. Matt, you've got them out in the Outer Hebrides. Do you know what I mean? I think you can't deny the players they brought in. I love that. Dan Perry, I love that. I think he's a quality player. You know,
mate, he's class. I've got him for the golden boot, to be honest, mate. It scored all day at that level.
Well, we're going to talk golden boot after this as well, because but I think same as what Matt says. There's a whole new team coming in there, near enough. Yeah, these players don't become shit overnight, even if you put them together. Even good players that haven't played together will play. They will work at some point. It might take them 3 or 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised if Hayward Heath roll them over in the first game of the season. I wouldn't be surprised in that. but I'd be very surprised if they're out of the top 3 or 4.
It could be a 0-0 draw.
It could be a boring fucking one like that. You know, no one wants that. No one wants that. But that's where I am with there.
But whoever does lose that first game, the pressure, they'll think, oh, that's all right, the pressure's off now, no one's talking about us.
But would you rather that or the 3 points?
Oh, 3 points all day long, mate. I don't want to lose any game of football ever. I don't want to lose it around over the park, mate, let alone 3 points on a Saturday. No chance.
And stick that target on my back. I'd rather have that. Roffey. Now, this is a talking team. Naeem, Naz, how you say. They've got some interesting results pre-season. You know, look, I'm sorry. Naz hasn't gone there to finish mid-table. You know, Jack Mundy did a great job, really great job with Roffey there. He now moves up and becomes a suit upstairs and monitors the new exciting stadium that they've got coming in the next couple of years. They're also playing at Horsham. I think that's going to suit their kind of football. I really do.
100%.
Yeah, look, he did bits at Lancing. Let's not forget he was at Haywards Heath, and was he top when he got let go?
I think when he went, they were undefeated. I don't think
and he only let in about 2 or 3 goals or something like that.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, I can't remember that. It was about Christmas. I think they let in about 5 goals and might have lost 1 game. I think up until Christmas, something like that. Mate, they were playing, you know, football like Spain were playing in the World Cup. The passing, the movement, the rotation, the interchanging, inverting.
Yeah, Billy.
Brilliant.
Shout out, Billy. It is an interesting take. So I'm just getting through all these comments as well. Blimey, it seems to have perked up a bit. Look, for me, Roffey, I wouldn't be surprised if they roll on quite a few teams over. I really wouldn't. Good to see that my guy, the most poshest name in football, Monty Watson-Price, was in goal last night, kept a clean sheet, which is nice to see.
Just quickly, Monty Watson-Price is almost being outdone by Alistair Phillips-Hill on the name front with a comment you just shared.
Oh, I did say that. Alice, yeah.
Are we having a name off later? Poshest name in Sussex.
And by the way, everybody, I just wanted to say before we continue this, new record broken tonight. Thank you, everyone. We'll get to the real numbers afterwards. We are hot right now. Okay, Midhurst. I can't get away from what they want to do down there. There is no way to me that they are finishing without pushing for at least the playoffs. You know, you're not going to get Brett Pittman in, and he's not lingering around. He could go and get 40 goals. I shit you not, he'd go and get 40 goals. If he's fit, if his head's on it, and he's bringing the same desire that he's proven to have, you know.
How old is he now, Mike?
I think
he's 38.
I think it's about 38, isn't it?
Yeah. My point is, how many games is he going to play?
What?
38.
He's got 143 goals in 122 games, so he must be doing at least 30, 40 games a season.
He must be, yeah.
I can't get away from the fact that he is there. He is this marquee signing. And it's not only that, they're announcing one today. They've just announced one, you know, in there. They got Nabil coming. They're signing all these players. Tom ain't mucking around. Nor's Connor, you know. I struggle to see how they would be out of the playoffs. I really do. And I know some of you have said already it's going to be tough for them to gel, new season, all new players and that together. I think they're on something good down there. I really do. And the double Baron bombs.
The comment underneath that about Pittman on being on 350, right? Whether he is or not,
I don't think that's true.
No, I don't think anyone knows, right?
No.
This is the thing with step 5. You haven't got to report any salaries or any pay or anything like that, right? No one really knows. Supposedly is probably a good way of putting it. Allegedly, probably be a better way of putting it. But regardless, I know there's a player in the league below that's on similar money. So 350 quid for an ex-Premier League striker in step 5, I can take it.
But didn't that, yeah,
All
look,
day.
I believe as well there's. I'm not going to speak out of turn, but I don't think he's just coming in.
Connor, 2 million a week he's on.
Hey, Connor, 2 million a week. There it is, and that's come from the gaffer.
Yeah,
that's come from the gaffer. So there, Connor, 2 million a week. There he goes. See,
if your club's got the money to do it, then do it. If it's sustainable and you can, Tom is a very astute businessman from what I've got from him. He ain't gonna say to Connor, you can't. He's gonna say to Connor,
sorry, mate. I've got 3 phones going on.
No, that's all right. What I was saying, right, is.
And Billy, I saw your message, mate. I can't. Sorry.
Tom is an astute businessman, right? He is not going to blow a budget and do what he can't pay.
Sorry, was that last comment saying he was in Chichester telling everyone what he was on?
Yeah.
Because players don't do that. He might well be. Thank you. Yeah. An ex-Premier League footballer, EFL player, ain't going around Chichester telling people he's on 350 bags a week. He ain't doing that. I'm sorry to call it that guy. I don't know who you are.
I reckon
he might well have been saying it, but I can't see an ex-EFL Premier League player going around boasting that he's on 350 quid at step 4.
But he was probably on 10 or 15 grand a week at one point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't see it. But anyway, look, but budgets are irrelevant, like you said, Gaz, for me.
No,
if you can afford to pay
I think that signing alone, that signing alone has made a lot of the other teams around them look around and go, right, okay. If you get a fit Pittman in there, he will get you 30 plus goals.
Yeah, 100% he will.
100%.
Yeah.
Same as a Dan Perry would do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, and you probably even look at someone like Wyham got like a Ryan Hall. He's going to get you 20 goals. Do you know what I mean? You're bringing in these players.
Yeah.
Someone talked to me the other day about like Moneyball. You know, where you bring in this amount of money, okay, and you split it up between the players and that to get these amount of goals, these amount of assists, like that. I just think if it works for them, they will be thereabouts. But come on, grill me on some other stuff.
I just want to say,
no one's asked me about Lingfield. No one's asked me about Lingfield. I've got them high.
Where have you got them? 7th.
Yeah, I didn't drop right at the start, but yeah, I think you've covered it with them. I think, yeah, what we said, fair play the signings they've done where they've got the ambition they've got.
Have you seen some of the signings they've just made?
Yeah, they've made some good signings.
They've got that boy in Paquet who was at Chelsea and Rangers. Yeah. He's come there, and I'm not going to. Don't worry, Rich. I'm not going to say it. I know what's happening with him. Yeah, in there. I'm not going to blow your thing, but that boy's a problem, a real problem. Look, they lost their skipper, Wilf, to YM. Okay, and you know,
criminal to put Lingfield above Eastbourne.
Yeah, but this is the Piano Man. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. And I tell you what, Eastbourne were the team, and I've said it all day long. They were the team. At one stage, I had them at 5th. I really did, 5th, and that because I've heard a little rumor that they saved a bit of bunts back from last year, okay, and want to start well. And I'd love to see Story do that, you know, because I think he's a great coach in there. Haven't got down to see him enough. I really haven't down there. But I have famously said the last couple of shows that I've been on, not just this one, but the IBB10 show, I think Eastbourne will do much better. If they start well, you can see them really kicking on. So yeah, Whitewick 17th. I haven't seen enough that's convinced me. I think they lost to Shoreham last night. They lost Charlie Robinson. Look, I know the two managers are cutting my powers.
Really? I've just employed one of my manager's sons.
Well, yeah, with Lee Baldwin, great guy. And,
Yeah.
But I think we've put them. All of us have put them in the sort of bottom 5, bottom 6 Wick, haven't we?
I think this year for Wick,
It's about staying up.
It's a consolidation season because the year after is going to be really exciting for them.
Yeah,
it really is. So it's and the lads there, they're really good lads. I think Ethan Roberts there is going to be one of the best strikers in that league.
Yeah,
he's only 18, 19. He's a problem. He's a real problem, that lad. So that's why Wick. Why I'm not type 3.
Vardinian's bottom, Mike.
Look.
Vardinians have been scrapping with it for years.
They have.
Look,
they've been sticking around.
As Matt said, someone had to come bottom. Yeah. I'll be honest. I really like Lancing as a club. They're close to my heart. But they haven't wowed me pre-season. Their Billings, I think it was incredible what they did last year. I think losing Ronnie Reeves to Forest Row is
he's a big player for them, mate. That's my thing. Is can they score the goals to stay up in that league?
Massively, and Forest Row as well. By the way, Forest Row aside, I was umming and ahhing. I was with Ian last night. Their manager at the game, and he's gone about doing his business well under the radar. I could have had them 7th, 8th up there.
They've been busier than any club, I think, from what I've seen. They've
had a big rebuild, haven't they? They have. They've got,
and he's a fantastic coach as well for outside of Forest Road. Do you know what I mean? Doing with his player first thing. It's all these players he's bringing up, and I'm like, fuck. But again, he's got to fit them all in as well. I mean, he was last night trying to get one really over the line last night. I think you said it, Matt, is getting them to gel in it. I think what they must have signed, I haven't counted, they must have signed 10, 12 players. He won't mind me sticking him in at 11th because I think so. He knows he can do that. Eastbourne United, right? As I said, I could have had them 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Everyone knows that I'm good pals with the Horsham manager, but he's not in my top 5. And I spoke to him today. Roffey. I just think Naz is coming there to have a real pop at him. And that's where I'm at there. Pagham. I'd love to be wrong. with Lemmy's there. I saw him play the other day. I thought they're a really great bunch of lads.
They play good football.
Yeah, they do.
It was only, but the thing is, though, we weren't there for the final against Arundel. It was an adult team. We basically saw them play Worthing's under 18s.
Yeah, right. But we saw enough to know that they're going to be better than last year.
Yeah,
and I think they're only about a few points off the playoffs last year. Do you know what I mean? They went away to Guernsey and won.
Yeah.
So that Bexhill, New Haven. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. Little Commons, Seaford won't get relegated. No, I'm not having that. Not having that. And Little Common. I mean, what's my worst one out of that?
Your worst prediction?
Yeah.
Have a look on
probably Eastbourne 8th, I'd say.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That might only be 2 places below or 3 places below where they finish. So yeah,
I reckon that's
not a lot wrong. I don't think.
I reckon that's probably the one.
Yeah, for me, that's the one that stands out, Mike. But yeah,
agreed.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I reckon across the 4 of us, someone would have got every position right, and we'd have, by the time the season ends, we could have a whole 20 based on our predictions.
Yeah,
Let's
probably.
do it at the end of the season then, Gaz.
And Will, you know, Will's a good guy. This one that said that. And do you know what, Will? I agree. I agree that is probably pretty harsh. But
again, someone has to be, right?
Someone does have to be, and I love it if Haig and that and Brad and that's I get it completely wrong, you know. Look, Arch, I want to be wrong, you know. But so what teams are worse than them?
I was just about to ask that, but don't forget that we got a poll out tomorrow, haven't we? They can have their say tomorrow of who they think is going to be bottom.
Yeah.
But just
remember what we all got someone different at bottom. On bottom,
yeah.
Last place. We've all got someone different.
Yeah, and nearly all got someone different winning it, haven't we? But this is what it's about, isn't it? It's opinions.
Yeah,
and that, and we're here to put up or shut up. You know. So Arch says, "Go on, Arch." I like Arch. It should do because I'm sponsoring his team. And by the way, Arch, the new trophies turned up for your game that we're sponsoring at the weekend, by the way. Right, so Lancing, Little Common, worse than Vardinians. I hope I'm wrong.
That's my bottom two. But I think something I mentioned earlier, right, is it's going to be closer at the bottom this time, right? So whichever team comes bottom, right, if it's Lancing or if it's Vardinians, whatever, right, I think they're going to be much closer to the rest of the pack than we've seen in previous seasons, right? So when we're saying these teams are coming last, it's not because we think they're about to have a shocking 6-point season or whatever. It's a team that's going to be competitive. They're going to win games, but it's so close at the bottom half of that table as well as the top. Whoever comes last, it's going to feel harsh, right? It might come down to the final day. It's that close, right? And it will feel harsh. And whoever goes down, I think we could be looking there and going, God, that's.
I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I think the one I've really fucked up is potentially Eastbourne, and I'd love for them to get a good fast start and actually show that they can kick on without having to have an Usain Bolt run at the end. Do you know what I mean? Where they go on a massive run. I know there's other lads in the other show. They really tip Eastbourne up.
Right. I think we need to. It's 10:15.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through.
By the way, we absolutely smashed SNLF records.
Yeah. One word answers. Quick fire. Matt, Golden Boot winner.
I'm not sure I could do one word. Saying Pittman is really boring. That's what I think. But I'm going to say Lee Robinson from New Haven. There you go.
Lee Robinson. Okay. Great.
Dan Perry, East Grinstead, because they're going to win the league. But he's, Dan Perry.
Macca?
Pittman.
I was going Pittman as well.
Oh, I'm the only one then. He's not gone it. Good.
No, Matt went.
I've gone with something different.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Pittman to start off with, Matt. Sorry, mate.
Manager of the season.
Manager of the season?
Yeah.
Fuck me. We can't even agree on who's going to win.
Who's going to come out as manager of the season this season?
Whoever wins it. So I'll go Andy at East Grinstead. Whoever wins it's got to win manager of the season. No, it's got to be, isn't it? Whoever wins it's got to win manager of the season. Same in the Premier League.
Will, I'm not getting to an FA Cup game because I'm working on the trailer that weekend. Matt, manager of the season.
That's really tough. It's a toss up between two. I'm going to go Jalsey.
Yeah, same with me. Mike?
Connor Hall.
I was torn between the two of them, to be fair. Who is going to be the signing of the season?
It's got to be Pittman, surely. It's hard to look past it, right? If we're talking statement signing, difference making.
I disagree. I can't with this. To get someone of that caliber into the SNLF is what a great job they've done. But it's an advert for the league as in planning it.
Yeah. Mike?
To argue against it, I do like, it's a bit of a left field one. Is the new guy, the Mpake that Lingfield have just brought in.
Yeah.
I did the research on him, and he's the fucking real deal.
Yeah. But then you could also argue that someone like Ryan Hall is as good a signing as Pittman could be. So
could be.
I'm going to go left field and go Ryan Hall. And finally, for this one, who is one young player everyone should be watching? I know exactly who you're going to go for, Mike, I think. And I think I'd probably go for the same person. But let's go young player that everyone should be watching.
22-15. Who's going first?
I'll go first. Ethan Roberts.
I'll go Ethan Roberts.
There you go.
Only because I know the potential of that lad.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'd be surprised if he's not playing at Isthmian level after this season.
Yeah.
I'll go.
I like he was a young lad that East Grinstead have got as well. The 17-year-old lad. Is it Walker?
Forward? I don't know. Forward.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Bertie Baker, Forest Row. He's come from Dorking Academy. He's done some good stuff there. I think Forest Row. Ian Nichols was the one I was tossing up between for manager as well. I think that he could be one of a few exciting players at Forest Row.
Okay.
I'm going for another Forest Row player, Matt Feeney Hill. He played for me at Forest Row. Great young player. Talent, energy, runs with the ball, dribbles with the ball. I think, what's he now? 19 now. So I don't know what you're playing, how you're going for young, but I think Matt Feeney at Forest Row is going to have a big season. Quality player and a great lad.
How old's Soleil? Tom Soleil?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he's actually watching.
No, well, I think he's one of the most exciting players. If he stays fit, one of the most exciting players in that league. I do.
He is 25.
Oh, fucking hell. Should have done a lot more by now, Tom. Jeez.
Yeah. He was born in 2001. He suffered from injuries, though, hasn't he? I think, Tom.
I know he has.
That's what Mike said about him keeping fit, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the lad's he's pretty special. I do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Who is going to be the biggest disappointment in this league?
Team.
Yeah.
East Grinstead.
Guernsey.
Guernsey.
I basically think from my predictions from my table, Haywards Heath not winning it and moving down and lower out of the top two will be a biggest disappointment.
I've got them third as well, Gaz, so I agree with that. I agree.
They haven't been out of the top two for a couple of years.
They've been so consistent, haven't they? So, yeah.
And who is the dark horse? It can't be in your top five. A team that are not in your top five that'll be the biggest dark horse.
Forest Row.
Forest Row. I mean, I've got them sixth, so that's maybe not so much of a dark horse.
Well, I've got Midhurst as seventh, so I'm going to go Midhurst.
Lingfield.
Yeah, that's all fair shouts, I think.
Yeah,
I disagree with all of them.
New Haven close behind.
I could have picked any of them.
Right. I think we've dove deep into that.
I think we have. I'm going to get the bends when I come up from here.
One last question before we go. Right, go on. Do we think there's going to be any team that goes on a run like Haywards Heath did last season, or do we reckon it's so much tighter this season?
So tight.
No. Because look, you got two juggernauts hitting on the first side of the season. I think you've got some other crackers as well in there. You know, some big teams. That's not going to happen.
No, I agree. I think it's far closer this season across the board.
I'm going to say less than 78 points will win you that league this year.
Ooh.
I genuinely think it'll be that tight in the top five.
Yeah. I reckon 85 will do it.
You just think, 75 to 80. I'm just giving a ballpark figure. I just think Haywards Heath could beat East Grinstead. East Grinstead could beat Midhurst. Midhurst could then go on and beat Hassocks. There's so many people in that. There's so many teams that could beat each other. No one's going to run away with it like they have done. No two teams are going to run away with it like they have done the last few years.
Absolutely agree.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I just want to say that to the 2,456 people that are watching on a Sunday night.
It's well over 2,500.
And it's Wednesday, not Sunday.
Oh shit! No, that's without Instagram.
That's without Instagram. Yeah.
By the way,
Okay, well then,
it's Wednesday, Mike, not Sunday.
yes. It's
Been a long evening, mate. You did say
Yeah,
something.
Bedtime.
It's look, it's incredible. Like, I hope we divided opinion. I hope we got people talking tomorrow morning in there. I hope we have darts chucked at our heads on changing room walls.
Well, I think I'm gonna have darts chucking darts. I'm being honest.
See if it ain't going down. So you're deluded. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to opinion. We're here to give players, supporters, coaches, chairmen, chairladies, committee people a voice. We do this because if you look at it over the last 10, 15 years, there hasn't been that kind of exposure, you know, and we are committed to it. We do this, you know, voluntary. It costs us a lot of money to do this, to be fair. Although I reckon all of you think we make loads of money off this. I wish, you know. Support your club, though. Get your club to ask for Dugout 90, and in there we'll come down. Go and check out Dugout Data Hub. Go and have a play with it. It's all free. Another toy. Any chairman, any coaches, any players want to come on the show, come on the show. Next week, we dive into Div 1. Okay? And that's going to be interesting because we know all about that league as well. But we want to thank you for the support because well over 2,500 of you. The SNLF as a brand for this show has never done those numbers. Okay? You know, so it's a testament to you guys to have the two hottest podcasts in the south of England, not just Sussex, the south of England, under one brand is incredible. It really is. So thank you to everyone. And this is why
Bible, the country, not the south of England, mate. It's the fucking country.
Yeah, but the actual, if you look at the numbers, there is no podcast in the south of England for football that actually does anywhere near the SNLF numbers or the IBB10 numbers. It is just facts. It is what it is. And that's why I don't need sponsors, by the way. So people that I don't need sponsors. You've seen Dugout 90, you've seen Data Hub and that, you've seen it, yeah? We're doing this on our own. Yeah? We're lone wolves. That's what we do, you know? And I don't care. We'll finance this for the next couple of years. We don't give a fuck. It is what it is. So, thank you to everyone for the support. We're disrupting the industry. Matt's going to put out tomorrow the poll. Who did it best? I reckon it's probably one of you two, to be fair.
I don't think it's going to be me.
It's not going to be me. It's not going to be me. But I'm going to stick by. I reckon the one who gets it closest right at the end, has to get the other three to do a forfeit.
Definitely. I love that.
Yeah? Yeah? Come on. Yeah? Something for it there. And we'll go from there. Grant, anything to close out?
No, I want to go to bed. No, I've enjoyed it. Great debate. A lot of divided. I think one thing I would like to say as well, I think it would be really good to have a look at what we've predicted. A lot of people are talking about budget. And do we think the teams finish where their budget is within that league? If you know what I mean.
That's
a whole different show, though, Mike. That's a whole different show. I actually
spoke to this to a couple of people last night, and obviously we don't know. Yeah, we don't officially know, but we sort of have an idea because we sort of have an ear to most clubs in there, you know, so we know roughly where we're at. But it'd be an interesting if one.
I mean, that could be a whole new different show. But that was my just thing is where a team's going to finish with regard to where their budget is within the league.
Yeah, I mean
that we're guessing, because we don't know. But anyway, that was it. But no, good show. Cheers, guys.
But incredible, Matt.
9 days to go.
I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's watching. I think the viewer interaction tonight has been off the charts. We've had so many comments; it's been hard to keep up. hopefully we haven't upset anyone too much. But yeah, big thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. And we're going to do it all again next week. Make some new enemies.
And the SNLF food guy.
Yeah, no, look, it's another great show. Really enjoyed it. Go and subscribe on YouTube. Piano Guy just there.
I was going to say, he has, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Go and subscribe
Piano
on YouTube. Mike, what's the YouTube?
At Dugout AI. I'm just gonna put it in the comments in there.
Right. The other
Dugout
thing.
AI. Go on there, because I'll tell you one thing, right? Because we're all self-funded, we obviously go and get no money from X or Insta, and that eventually we'll move the model to YouTube. You know, not for another 6 months or so, but you know, when my kids can't eat, and you know, when Gad's kids can't eat, and that we'll have to do so. So yeah.
Look, the other thing
go and follow that.
The other thing I wanted to say is, due to reasons out of our control and TikTok being wankers, we've had to set up a new TikTok page. Now, we had just shy of 1,400 followers on the old page. We can still post on there, but we can't change anything. So basically, there's a new TikTok page. It's at the .snlf. I've had to try and
We'll link it on the X page tomorrow.
We'll put it in.
Yeah, we'll
Wonderful.
put it in. Go and give us a follow. We're also on X, only 23 followers away from 2,000. 23 followers away from 2,000 on X. Go and give us a follow. If you're not following us and you're following us on YouTube, go and follow us on X. It's at the SNLF. 23 followers. I tell you what, if you are the 2,000th follower and it happens before next Wednesday, you can come on the show next Wednesday.
Well, yeah, I don't want it. Depends who comes on, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Brandon, if you're listening, mate. You.
He's already following you.
Whatever you do, lads, you got to stay hydrated.
Dugout 90. Buy a can. Support your club.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Right, everyone have a safe sleep, sort of journeys home, or whatever you got to do. Thanks to my co-host. Thanks to Gaz, the SNLF food guy. Thanks to Grant Herm. Thanks to Matt. Thanks to everyone. We're back next week, and we're going to go deep diving into Div 1. Okay? So for everyone, love you and leave you. Get out there.
Bye, guys.
Stay hydrated and get onto your club and demand that they stop Dugout 90. Otherwise, we will send the non-league Grim Reaper